It has been 22 months since Cape Cod baseball played on this field, and after a missed 2020 season due to the global pandemic, baseball is finally back here in Cotuit. Welcome back to the Kettleers pregame show. Here for the first time in 2021, I'm your host, Tim Crowley. I'll be with you all season long. So let's take a moment to recap. The last time we saw baseball on this field, it was August of 2019, and the Kettleers won their 17th championship, the most in league history, and the third of this decade in the 2010s. But now in 2021, they're back with Coach Mike Roberts at the helm, and it's a brand new team. So for this community to gain baseball back, to have baseball back in Cotuit, it means more than ever this year.
Expectation is a funny thing. At any moment, it can be ripped away from you. It can cause you both pain and sadness. It has the power to destroy hope. But expectation isn't all bad. From the ashes, a new light can rise, a light stronger than ones before. Cotuit and the game of baseball have a unique relationship. There's nowhere else in the world where a town can rally like this one can. Through the tree line, you can find a hidden gem in Lowell Park. But in this field, the true diamond that's found is the love of the game.
That wins games right there.
The game returning to Cape Cod was never certain. It was a dream. But today, we all rejoice. Now, there's only one thing left to do. We play for 18.
And a huge thanks to Roy Reese, the PA voice of the Cotuit Kettleers, for voicing that video. So as we get ready to go on the pregame show, let's take a look at the team that Cotuit will meet in their season opener to start off their title defense, that being the Wareham Gatemen, coming over the bridge to kick off their season in hopes to get a win over Cotuit after losing to the Kettleers in the 2019 playoffs, a series that the Kettleers would move on from to go beat the Harwich Mariners and take home Banner 17. But this is a Gatemen team that's had success of their own as of late, just a championship 3 years ago in 2018. They're led by head coach Tom Stetton, who was there for that championship victory just 3 years ago. And to kick off the 2021 season, they'll have a young right-hander on the mound out of Clemson, that being Nick Clayton, who threw 37 2/3 innings for the Tigers this past year with a record of 6-2 and their ERA just over 4. But something to keep an eye on with Clayton today is we haven't seen a lot of length from him. 18 appearances for Clemson, just 17 coming out of the pen, and just one start. That one start came against Florida State in conference play, where he went just 2 2/3 innings. Now, this is a guy who has credentials, has been a top pitcher throughout his career, even coming up through high school as a regional pitcher of the year out of South Carolina. So he has what it takes, has the stuff, 40 Ks to just 12 walks for Clemson this year, and a 9.6 strikeouts per 9. So plenty of stuff, plenty of velocity that we'll see from him today. It works on that fastball, a curveball, and a developing changeup will be the repertoire that the Cotuit offense will see today as they get to feel each other out in game 1 of the season. So that's what we have on the visitors. Now, for more on Cotuit, I'll go to my pregame host for the entire season and our Cotuit sideline reporter, Lauren Kirkley. Lauren?
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, it's so surreal to think that just months ago, this season was a big question mark, and now behind me are 30 guys ready to get after it. Fans are filing into Lowell Park, ready to see their team return. The feeling in the air is truly like no other. Taking the mound today for the Kets, number 37, Justin Mice, a 6'2", 160-pound rising junior out of Eastern Michigan University. When asked what it was that set him apart to start this season opener, the answer was simple: his ability to keep the ball down and throw low strikes. If Mice can keep this kind of performance up today, then the Kets will be in good shape to start this season 1-0. Now, let's take it back up to the booth for the first edition of CarryCast with Chris and Steph.
It's been 22 months since the Cotuit Kettleers last played a game at Lowell Park. Now, the 17-time champions will take the field for the first time this summer. Welcoming you inside the booth for CarryCast, I'm Chris Carey alongside my brother and partner, Stephen Carey.
We're happy to be here inside Lowell Park, where we will be your eyes, ears, and voices for the Kettleers all summer long as they chase their 18th Cape Cod Baseball League title.
Now, Steph, this season is unlike any other, considering that baseball wasn't played last season. Now, the Kettleers faithful will be able to have their voices heard for the first time at Lowell Park in 2021. How good does it feel to be back at the ballpark?
Well, what I can tell you is the atmosphere is absolutely electric. Fans are coming out in droves to see their Kettleers play for the first time in what feels like forever. And as you saw on Thursday night, the product on the field is something to watch.
Some of the best collegiate baseball players from across the country have traveled far and wide to come to Cape Cod, not only to showcase their individual talents, but also to help their team win a CCBL trophy.
Coach Mike Roberts and Peter Flaherty Jr. are known for putting together all-star teams. The proof's in the pudding, 17-time champions of this league. And Chris, we saw it on Thursday. Who impressed you the most? And should I say, who are you looking forward to watching today and moving forward?
Well, to start it off, we can't just address any individual players without saying the sheer volume of players that were playing Thursday. Pitching was at a premium, 17 team strikeouts through 10 innings, and then the bats came alive on the back end of the game. John Rhodes hit 2 home runs himself. It was followed up shortly by Luke Gold, who hit a mammoth shot to left field off of one knee. Those are the two guys offensively that I think will put it together at 5 o'clock against the Wareham Gatemen.
Well, Chris, you said it best. Pitching was at a premium. 10 shutout innings of only 1 hit ball. If they can pitch with that type of efficiency, from a throwing standpoint, it's going to be a fun season to watch.
And Stefan, I can't tell you how excited I am to work alongside you in the broadcast booth and all of the other talented staff from the Cotuit Kettleers. It truly is special.
Couldn't have said it better myself. There's a reason why they say it's the #1 amateur baseball league in the world.
The nation's brightest young stars will take the field for the CCBL up next. But first, more thoughts from Lauren Kirkley and Tim Crowley. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chris and Steph. Now, to wrap up this first edition of the pregame show, let's send it back to Tim for his keys of the game.
Lauren, thank you so much. Here are my 3 keys to a Cotuit win today. Number 1 is starting fast on the bases. This is a team that likes to run. Coach Roberts has always liked to run here in Cotuit. So stealing bases, getting that tempo started for the game is absolutely the primary key for this team today. Number 2, get a lead early. Try to score in the first inning. Give Justin Mice some early run support as he makes his first start as a Kettleer. Give him that run support early, and you'll be off and on your way. The third and final key, get to those power arms in the back of the bullpen. If it's a safe situation, expect to see TJ Brock out of Ohio State, that blazing fastball up around triple digits. He'll be ready to go if the opportunity arises, and if you can get to those power arms, you'll be looking good for a 1-0 start if you're the Cotuit Kettleers. So that'll do it for the first pregame show of the year. A huge thanks to Chris and Steph on CarryCast and for Lauren Kirkley taking us through all things Cotuit Kettleers here on the pregame show. So for the first time all year, I'm Tim Crowley. Stick around. We have plenty of pregame ceremonies coming up before Chris and Steph get you ready for first pitch here on the Kettleers Digital Network. It has been 22 months since Cape Cod baseball played on this field, and after a missed 2020 season due to the global pandemic,
Great to have baseball back on Cape Cod with the Cape Cod Baseball League.
welcome the historic Lowell Park, Gatemen's New Jersey. It's the perfect setting for seeing picturesque, simply beautiful, for today's opening Cape Cod Baseball League game between the Wareham Gatemen and the hometown Cotuit Kettleers, celebrating their 73rd season of baseball in the nation's most prominent summer baseball league. Let's get you up to date now with today's starting lineup. First for the visitors from Wareham. Leading off, playing second base from Alabama, number 4, Jim Jarvis. Batting second, playing center field, number 3, Ray Gonzalez from Georgia Tech. Batting third, the DH from the Air Force Academy, number 20, Paul Seen. Batting cleanup, and left field from the University of Alabama, number 12, Owen Giannotti. Batting in the fifth position and playing the hot corner at third base from Penn State, number 15, Justin Williams. Batting sixth, playing first base from Mercer, number 24, Angelo Justina. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 8, Jimmy Crooks from the University of Oklahoma. Batting eighth, playing right field, number 11, from Ohio State, Dave Kern. Batting ninth, playing shortstop from the University of San Diego, number 10, Cotuit Kettleers. Pitching, starting pitcher for the Gatemen, from Clemson, number 17, Nick Flavin. And now for the hometown Cotuit Kettleers. Leading off, playing first base, number 41, Blake Klassen from Eastern Oklahoma. And second, the third baseman from Cal Santa Barbara, number 4, Cole Dominic. And in the third spot for California, number 17, Dylan Beavers, the right fielder. In the cleanup spot, number 40, R.J. Shrek, the left fielder from Duke. And fifth, the DH from UNC Wilmington, number 11, Brooks Baldwin. And sixth, the catcher from Dartmouth and Cohasset, number 25, Ben Rice. And in the seventh spot, the center fielder from Kentucky, number 8, John Rose. And in eighth, number 2, Eric Brown Jr., the center baseman, Coastal Carolina. And in ninth, the shortstop from Kentucky, number 10, Ryan Ritter. Starting pitching for the Kettleers, number 37, Justin Money from Eastern Michigan. Our umpires today on the plate, Sparky Burns. At first base, Rick Emerson. And at third base, Mark Delaney. Our official scorer is Chris Jones. Our scoreboard operator, Jeff Hurlock. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce our teams, our youth teams, as the Kettleers sponsor. We're going to start off with the Barnstable Junior Kettleers. Come on down, guys. We're going to be future Kettleers. Stand up, Bruce. Next, we have the Mansfield Little Leaguers. We've got the Barnstable softball team. We've got the Barnstable Little League minor league team. And finally, we've got the Barnstable Little League major league team. introduce the visiting team from Wareham. The head coach, Jerry Weinstein. The assistant coach, John Stanton and Ron Pope. And athletic trainer, Mackenzie Corrigan. And on the players, number 52, Jonathan Brand from Miami. Bradley Bremer from Rise Strike State, number 36. Todd Burton from the University of Michigan, number 9. Number 45, Julio Candelario from Maris. Number 55, Ethan Chanel from North Carolina Wilmington. Number 13, Nick Chanello from Manhattan College. Number 17, Nick Clayton, Clemson. Number 8, Jimmy Crooks from Oklahoma. 24, Angelo Messina from Mercer. 12, Owen Giudice from Alabama. 14, Kay Furnace from George Washington. Number 37, Richard Fitz from Auburn. Number 16, Jeff Gilbert from Clemson. Number 3, Trey Gonzalez from Georgia Tech. Number 35, Harrison Devereaux, Cal State Long Beach. 28, Jim Travis from Alabama. Number 10, Cody Jeffrey, San Diego. Number 11, Dave Kern from Ohio State. 23, Larson Kendrick from Viola. Number 53, Spencer Niles from Mississippi, from Missouri that is. Number 18, Sam Nara from New Mexico State. Number 51, Alexander Pham from the University of San Francisco. Number 50, Christian Rudak from Oklahoma. Number 7, Hunter Silverrock from Pacific. Number 30, Tyler Singledecker from Tennessee. Number 26, Cole Seamus, San Diego State. Number 20, Paul Steen from the Air Force Academy. Number 34, Matt Swanson, Lehigh. Number 6, Ian Dillard, California. Number 50, Justin Williams from Penn State. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're listening to the Wareham Gatemen. And now, for the 2021 Cotuit Kettleers. Returning to from Kentucky, John Rhodes. Number 10, Ryan Ritter from Kentucky. Number 11, Brooks Baldwin from UNC Wilmington. Number 15, Luke Gold, Boston College. Number 17, John Peters from California. Number 18, Nathan Marilla from California. Number 20, from Wellesley and Harvard University, Tony Seidel. Number 21, Matt Johnson from Yukon. Number 22, Will Jacobson from Harvard. Number 23, Matt McCormick from West Virginia. Number 24, Mikey Perez, UCLA. Number 25, from Cohasset, Dartmouth, Ben Rice. Number 26, Hamilton Oliver from Baylor. Number 31, Jordan Radden from Wofford. 33, Nate Brooks from UCLA. Number 34, Harrison Cohen from George Washington. Number 35, Alaska Academy, Coastal Carolina. Number 37, today's starting pitcher from Eastern Michigan, Justin Mice. Number 40, Tom Duke, R.J. Track. Number 41, Blake Klassen from Eastern Oklahoma State. Number 43, T.J. Rock from Ohio State. Number 46, John Rapp from North Carolina. Number 47, Jake Smith from Miami. Number 48, Chris Troy from Cal Santa Barbara. Number 49, Ryan Long from Pomona Baker. Number 50, Max Hick, Boston College and Lynn, Massachusetts. Number 51, from Plymouth and Boston College, Joey Wall. Number 52, from Cal Riverside, Andre Regallo. Our trainer this year, Rachel Jordan. Our bullpen catchers, Ryan Gio and Lam Lakatos. We'd also like to ask the back boys to step on out and join the Kettleers. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 Cotuit Kettleers. Now I'd like to introduce the Boy Scouts, troop number 52 from Cotuit.
give them strength, protect them, to continue to guide them in all things through your holy blessing for the ages of ages. Amen.
Now we ask you please all remain standing. The playing of our national anthem and singing of our national anthem going to be done by a choir. St. Michael's Pan Orthodox Church in Cotuit. One final thing. Every year the Kettleers give out scholarships. Last year, since we didn't have a season, we'd like to honor our scholarship winners for 2020 and this year as well. Over 2020, our scholarship winners were Lisa Alto, who's attending Northeastern University, majoring in architecture. Anita Mason, UMass Boston, nursing major. We have Stephanie Stiles, attending Brown University, majoring in English. And Ethan Weiner, attending Northeastern University, majoring in computer science. And this year, throwing out the first pick, our scholarship winner is Leah Pierce, who will attend Westfield State University. She will be majoring in criminal justice, along with Lisa Alto from last year's scholarship winner, throwing out
Well, folks, we're finally here to say it. Kettleers baseball is back after 22 months, welcoming you inside the booth for the very first time. I'm Chris Carey alongside my brother and broadcast partner Stephen Carey. And wow, what a turnout at Lowell Park after 22 months of not playing baseball. Everyone's out and about, lively crowd, wonderful weather, and I just, for one, can't wait for baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were figuring out where we were going to intern this summer, Cotuit was always on our radar, but we never quite understood what the magnitude of this community was in terms of their support for the Kettleers. Today, you see it in full stride. Stands are packed. Beautiful right field stands are getting packed with the Wareham fans, but my goodness, what a beautiful venue for summer baseball.
And always great work by our public address announcer, Roy Reese, who did lineups, did the national anthem, did everything. A jack of all trades, if you will, donning this for multiple years for the Kettleers. And Stephen Roy's been just such an integral part of the community, and it's just so glad to hear him now as well.
Yeah, Roy has been nothing but helpful for us in our growth coming here, getting us acclimated with this community. But like we were saying earlier, it's not hard when you have so many welcoming people that are just starving for baseball. 2 years they've been waiting to see their 2019 champion, Cotuit Kettleers, hit the diamond again. And now they get that chance against the Wareham Gatemen.
And you say 2019 champion, that's just one of 17 championships that these Cotuit Kettleers have won through the tree line of Lowell Park. You think that this town is just small, and then you see a community rally around like this one in Cotuit. Now they're searching for their 18th champion, Stephen. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think the mission is always clear when it's Mike Roberts that's managing this team. It is every detail, represent the team well, and play like a 17-time champion organization, down to the microcosm, focusing on every little bit of your swing, every pitch, leading off on the bases. You will see aggressive baseball here today, and they want to win, and they want to get their name known inside the Cape Cod Baseball League for Game 1 on opening day.
And they're playing a West rival for the Wareham Gatemen, coming for the first game this season. Last time Wareham and Cotuit played, it wasn't so great, but they're looking to change the narrative today.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a difficult game. We won the series 2-1 in the playoffs in 2019, but you know, it's always a tough test. The guys from over the bridge want to come over and rough things up in this beautiful ballpark. It's pedigree versus pedigree, 17-time champion versus 9-time champion, and everybody's hunting for the crown here in June.
Without further ado, we're going to read you the starting lineups from both teams, starting with the Gatemen, batting first and playing second base. The player from Alabama, James Jarvis, followed by Trace Gonzalez from Georgia Tech. He'll play center field. Batting third and DHing is Paul Skeens out of Air Force. He's a two-way player for Wareham. See him behind the plate and on the mound a lot this season for the Gatemen. Cleaning up and playing left field, Owen Diodati out of Alabama. Batting fifth and playing third base from Penn State, Justin Williams. Angelo Despina will play first and bat sixth. He goes to Mercer in Macon, Georgia. Jimmy Crooks will be behind the plate from Oklahoma, batting seventh. Cade Kern will bat eighth and play right field out of Ohio State. And then following up the order, Cody Jeffress, the shortstop from the University of San Diego, the Torero. Their starting pitcher will be a Clemson Tiger in Nick Clayton. And now the Cotuit Kettleers lineup, the one that you've all been waiting to hear about. On Thursday, we got to see plenty of these players, but now it is finally here in Cape Cod League baseball. Kettleers will be led off by number 41, Blake Klassen out of Eastern Oklahoma State College, playing first base. Batting second and playing third, Cole Cummings from UC Santa Barbara. Dylan Beavers out west, the right fielder, will bat third, and batting fourth and playing left field, RJ Schreck from Duke. Batting fifth and DHing will be Brooks Baldwin from UNC Wilmington. Ben Rice will be behind the plate. Ivy League guy from Dartmouth, missed a season, looking to get back in his stride in the Cotuit Pinstripes, followed by John Rhodes in center field, batting seventh from the University of Kentucky. Eric Brown from Coastal Carolina playing second base and batting eighth. And then another Kentucky player, Ryan Ritter, batting ninth. And they will play defense under the valiant arm of number 37, Justin Mice out of Eastern Michigan University. The umpires today as well will be Pat Sparky Burns behind the plate, first base umpire Rick Emerson, and Mark Delaney will handle duties at third base. Stephen, tell me a little bit about this Wareham Gatemen lineup and what Cotuit will look forward to see.
Well, from top to bottom, it's a lot of contact hitters. These guys are going to square up the ball, try to get on base, and play ABC baseball. They're going to want to get into scoring position, whether it's bunting or just moving the guys over on ground outs to the other side. That's what you're going to see out of this Wareham Gatemen team. They are scrappy, and they have quite the rivalry with the Kettleers.
And this Kettleers roster we've seen plenty of. What do they have that's different from the Wareham Gatemen?
Well, this is a team of power. We saw it on Thursday against the Lexington Blue Sox. They like to swing for the fences, literally and figuratively. It started happening later in the game, more towards the 6th inning. John Rhodes exploded for 2 home runs out to left field. Luke Gold, one of his own, and R.J. Schreck out into right center, the left-handed bat coming from him. So you're going to see a lot of aggressive baseball from Cotuit. Coach Roberts really focuses on base running, stealing, aggression, and a ton of speed.
And we see the Kettleers baseball team take the field in the CCBL for the first time in nearly 2 years. Their defensive lineup from left to right, R.J. Schreck in left, John Rhodes in center, Dylan Beavers in right, Cole Cummings at third, Ryan Ritter at short, Eric Brown at second, and Blake Klassen at first. Behind the plate is Ben Rice, and then, of course, Justin Mice will pitch for Cotuit. Steph, tell me a little bit about Justin Mice and why he's starting Game 1 for Cotuit.
He's a tall pitcher out of Eastern Michigan. Last year, he went 4-6 with a 4.64 ERA. Silver lining in that, 81 strikeouts. And we saw him on Thursday for 1 inning in the 6th. He had a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout and 2 light groundouts. So he's willing to use his defense and can get it done with the strikeout as well.
And this Cotuit defense gets ready as they warm up. We'll be right back on Mashpee TV and the Cotuit Kettleers digital network. A very short break, and baseball is almost underway. Leading it off is James Jarvis from Alabama. He goes by Jim. Jim Jarvis is what we'll call him for the rest of the broadcast. 237 hitter this season with 17 RBIs and no home runs, so a contact guy to say the least. And there's your first pitch, and the Cape Cod League season is underway. A fastball outside, 1-0.
How good does it feel to say that?
And that one's grounded up the middle, played perfectly by Ritter. Will throw over across the diamond, and that is your first out of the CCBL season.
Love it when the shift works to perfection. Ritter playing right behind the second base bag, gathers himself. Doesn't make the best throw across to Klassen, but doesn't pull him off the bag either. So you'll take an out when you can get it.
Lefty followed up by another lefty, Trace Gonzalez, the center fielder from Georgia Tech. 279 hitter with 3 home runs and 27 RBIs is welcomed with a hook that misses away, 1-0. And there's a strike. Now it's 1-1. 279 in 56 games this season, was second on Georgia Tech with a .422 on-base percentage. As he chops that one over to Klassen, he'll take it himself. And 2 quick groundouts for Justin Mice.
And that's what we were highlighting before the game. He had a 1-2-3 inning on Thursday with light groundouts. You love a pitcher that can mix it up. He can throw the strikeout ball, but can also get batters to ground out and let the defense stretch their legs, make plays. A lot of jitters coming here. A lot of scouts showing up to see these players play. You don't know how they're going to react to it, but it's good to see Ritter and Klassen both making plays early to start.
And here's now Paul Skeens, who takes a strike to make it 0-1 with 2 outs. Skeens at Air Force batted .410 with 11 home runs and 43 RBIs as a two-way player, Steph.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see him pitch, primarily a catcher, but he's in there because of his bat. The .410 batting average speaks for itself. Batting in the 3-hole today, so excited to see what he does against a right-handed pitcher, but now he's down in the count 0-2.
Perfect spot here for Justin Mice if he can get it past the hard-hitting Skeens. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses away at 94 miles an hour, and Skeens will see another. This season, Skeens played first base, DH, catcher, and closer. Talk about a Swiss Army knife for the Falcons. The 1-2. He lays off that one. It'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Talk about a coach's weapon. Can play all spots on the field, capable of getting you out of a jam in a late game situation. I mean, that's just a baseball player right there.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball lifted into right field. That's the first hit for the Gatemen, and the inning will extend to Owen Diodati. Good 2-out base hit from Skeens to the opposite field to continue the top of the first for the Gatemen.
Yeah, just a pretty swing there from Skeens. Inside out, pushes it out to right field. And he was down in the count. That's the thing that scouts are going to start looking at, is guys down in the count that have aggressive bats that aren't too trigger happy. They want to pick the right pitch, hits it to the opposite field. I mean, that's all you can ask for out of a right-handed hitter there.
This is shortly grounded over to the right side, and Brown can't handle it, and he can't find it. So an error for Eric Brown moves over Skeens to second base, and now the Wareham Gatemen are in business with 2 runners on the base paths.
That comes back to the point that I made. A lot of jitters here. Brown, one of the most sure-handed defensive players on this Cotuit Kettleers team. Sunlight's beating down on him. It's going to take some time to adjust to the game, the wood bats, the new field, the new terrain.
And now Justin Williams out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and Penn State will stand in from the right side batter's box. 300 hitter this season with 5 home runs and 22 RBIs. Has a chance here to drive Skeens in from second base if he can put one to the outfield. First offering from Mice, 95 on the gun, and it hits the outside corner for a strike.
Just paints the black. That's some aggression right there. First pitch fastball away when he's already been burnt by that with Paul Skeens poking one out to right field. So I like the aggression. I like the confidence here.
Now the 0-1. Breaking ball called off the plate. Now it's 1-1. Williams was named to the Big Ten All-Freshman team in 2019. 2020, of course, was shortened, and then had a great season for the Nittany Lions in 2021. 1-1 pitch. Fastball misses away. And now ahead is Williams at 2 balls and a strike. So now in a situation where it's not adversity yet for Justin Mice, what does he need to do to try and get out the number 5 hitter for the Wareham Gatemen?
Well, just hit his spots.
He did that right there and then some at 94. It evens it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
Well, he went back to the pitch that he started Williams off with. Outside fastball, then he went on to the slider, missed away with the fastball, went right back at that outside corner. That's the aggression, the toughness that you want out of a starting pitcher.
2-2 pitch from Mice, and that's lined right to Brown. This time he gets it. 3 outs for the Kettleers. No one comes to cross for the Gatemen. We head to the home half of the first on the Cotuit Kettleers digital network. After a great first outing for Justin Mice, we're back on the Cotuit Kettleers digital network. Chris Carey, Stephen Carey. Now we have to figure out what Nick Clayton has to offer for the Kettleers 1-2-3 hitters. Tell me about Nick Clayton.
Well, 6.2 ERA, 6-2 with a 4.30 ERA over 37 and 2/3 innings pitched. That's in 2021. He's typically more of a relief guy, so we're going to see high speed here coming from his big frame. And Wareham's going to throw a lot of arms today. I think they're really trying to get a groove. They've had some struggles with practice and weather. I think they're just trying to figure out who their personnel is.
So Blake Klassen will get first cuts and takes a pitch in the dirt, 1-0. Klassen started his collegiate career at the University of Arizona and then ultimately transferred to Eastern Oklahoma State College, a junior college, and this year batted .388 with 20 home runs and 75 RBIs. As another one spiked, he's quickly ahead 2-0. But Klassen is now transferring to UC Santa Barbara. Congratulations to Blake. And the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, video game numbers. 20 home runs, 75 RBIs. That's why it's so hard to leave him off the starting lineup as a left-handed hitter. He made some good plays over at first in the top of the inning. So let's see what he does here.
And he'll take a change-up to the outside corner, making it 2-1. Good pitch there from Nick Clayton. He also has to settle into his first game for the Gatemen. 2-1 pitch. And that's lined up the middle for a base hit. Lead off for Blake Klassen. And that's just the start that the Kettleers needed to bring up Cole Cummings.
2-1 pitch, went down and got it, extended his hands and sent it out to center field. That's just a beautiful piece of hitting by Blake Klassen. Runner aboard, nobody out. Here's where you start to see Mike Roberts play the game a little bit. Let's see what Klassen does on the base paths here.
And now we saw on Thursday and knew even before that Mike Roberts is interested in ABC baseball here. He's not afraid to steal these guys and bunt them as Klassen goes. Throw down to second in the dirt. It is in time to get Klassen. Nice throw down there from Crooks, the catcher from Oklahoma. That's the test that you have to take. Sometimes you have to be risky, and right there, Crooks, it paid off for him on the throw down to Jeffries.
Well, Oklahoma nabs Eastern Oklahoma State. But that's what you like to see. You want to see ABC baseball and aggression. Put your runners into scoring position without any outs.
As Cummings takes a big cut to make it a ball and a strike, he'll have to produce some offense of his own. Not a bad jump there from Blake Klassen, just an even better throw by Crooks behind the plate. 1-1 pitch. And that's up by the letters, 2-1. Cummings out of UC Santa Barbara this year batted .341 with 5 home runs and 27 RBIs. 79 hits as well to his name. Hopefully those numbers translate to Cotuit.
What you're going to see, folks, here with Cummings and moving forward is an onslaught of left-handed hitters. Klassen, Cummings, Beavers, Schreck, Baldwin, and Rice, all lefties. And that's what Coach Mike Roberts likes to do. He likes to play the numbers game in terms of lefty versus righty matchups.
And Cummings troops one over to short, Jeffries over to first, and Despina has to dig it out for the second out of the inning.
So actually the first right-handed hitter you're going to see in this lineup is John Rhodes, batting in the 7th spot.
And that's what Coach Mike Roberts likes to do as well. He likes to hammer that lineup with the lefty-righty matchup or righty-lefty matchup, depending on who's on the mound. But there's no better lefty than Dylan Beavers right now after his success at Cal. .303 average, 18 home runs, and 49 RBIs. And boy, can this guy swing the bat.
Beavers sort of has that relaxed stance like Anthony Rizzo. Really gets his hands through the ball. You don't want to throw him middle in because he'll take that ball into the trees.
0-1 pitch, just a bit inside. Now a ball and a strike. Beavers this year led the Pac-12 in home runs and then had 10 more in conference.
Well, in fact, he was all Pac-12 first team this year, so he can hit the ball to all parts of the field. If you took a spray chart, we've seen him do it during batting practice or otherwise. In the scrimmage on Thursday, first at bat that we saw him with, 4 steps shy of the warning track in left center field. So he has that type of power to all spots on the baseball field.
1-2 pitch, looper into left. Diodati camps under it and makes the catch for the third out of the inning. Both pitchers going back and forth. We head to the second on the Cotuit Kettleers digital network.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming out to the ballpark today. The Gatemen and the Kettleers along the Decon Baseball League and the NCAA would like to remind you this is a tobacco-free ballpark. Additionally, the Massachusetts Education Reform Act prohibits the use of any tobacco product at this location. Greatly appreciate your assistance in honoring this tobacco-free request. Thank you.
Top of the second here at Lowell Park. Chris Carey, Stephen Carey for the Cotuit Kettleers digital network. Justin Mice back at work after a 1-2-3 inning from Nick Clayton for the Wareham Gatemen. Mice will have to face 6, 7, and 8. But Stephen, we have to talk a few things about the Cape Cod League that's different this year than every other year.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of reform because of the COVID-19 policies. It's a 40-game season with only 4 teams advancing to the playoffs. So it's going to be a little bit different, but that means each game just means so much more, especially these division games.
And Mice will have to face Angelo Despina from Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. This season, 266 average, 15 home runs, and 45 RBIs. But Steph, to your point, as you're saying, as Despina sprays that one foul, 40 games. That's 4 give or take games that were taken away. It was supposed to be 34. Then the Cape Cod organizational people came together and said 40 games is a better option, but let's cut down the playoff teams. So now instead of 8 teams, there's 4 teams. What does that mean for each team playing in each division?
Well, it means that you're probably going to face all of your division rivals 4 times this year, 2 at home, 2 away. And games like this mean so much for your division rankings, and the top 2 teams in each division are going to advance to the playoffs. So you have to be aggressive. You have to be ready to play ball every single day. Very few rest days. The athletic trainers are going to be more important than ever. Hydration, nutrition, these factors that are sometimes overlooked cannot be overlooked in a season that is a sprint versus a marathon.
And now, folks, rain delays and rain out games will not be made up, so there may be a different number by the end of the season of games played, but as the 1-2 comes in, breaking ball just a bit low, it'll even it up at 2-2 for Despina. You have to think, Stefan, that a team like Cotuit that went 20-20 in 2019 and ultimately won their 17th championship probably won't be able to do that this year with the amount of competition the teams are displaying so far.
Well, players get better and better every year. Scouting gets better and better every year. But if there's one thing I've learned since I've been in Cotuit, it's to trust Peter Flaherty Jr. and Coach Mike Roberts. They have picked out the best possible players for this system, for this team, for this organization.
2-2 pitch to Despina. And he may have broken his bat on that one. I think he did. So he'll have to see another pitch, but first he'll have to get another bat. And that's another thing to talk about, these wood bats. What is the transition like for these guys that are going from aluminum to wood now in the Cape League? We've heard there are legitimate struggles, but in batting practice, these guys have seemed comfortable with them. What are they going to experience over the next couple of weeks?
Well, when you barrel up a baseball, it's going to be very different than what you're used to. It's not going to be that immediate pop like it is off of a metal bat or an aluminum bat, whatever you want to call it. Takes a little bit more muscle, but a lot of these players have been playing in summer leagues and have played in wood bat tournaments, so they have familiarity with it. A little bit heavier, but more bat speed, more torque is going to be the key.
2-2 pitch, low and away. It's now full at 3-2. Justin Mice still looking to get his first strikeout of the game. He's pitched to contact very well thus far, but let's see the 3-2. And that's fouled off of the foot of Despina, a broken bat, and now maybe a bruised ankle. Not a good start for him.
Kind of that 1-2 combo. You don't want to get hurt or injured in the first game. See him shaking it off, walking out of the dugout.
And Despina out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. He has quite the resume even before going to college. He was ranked the #1 third baseman by perfect game in the state of Georgia. And now he's playing first base for the Wareham Gatemen as the 3-2 is skied high towards third base. Cummings playing the sun, moving back, and is able to make the catch for the first out of the second inning. Long at bat for Despina, but Mice gets the last laugh against him in his first at bat. And now we'll turn his focus to Jimmy Crooks, who had a nice throw down to second base to nab Blake Klassen stealing in the first.
This is interesting to see not one but two left-handed hitting catchers in a game. I feel like that's a rarity. Typically you want your catchers to be right-handed so their throw down can go to second. I know these guys both throw right-handed, but batting lefty is sort of not commonplace in this game, especially at this level.
Crooks at Oklahoma batted .284 with 10 home runs and 39 RBIs. Not just a defensive catcher, a very, very capable offensive player from the left side of the plate. And he's behind 0-1. Now that's grounded over towards Klassen. Nice play there. He'll race to the bag and just beat out Crooks by about a step and a half. Blake Klassen has dealt with those ground balls well, and right there almost let it slip by him, but recovered wonderfully.
Certainly did, Chris. And the credit's starting to go to Justin Mice. He's getting these batters to roll over, get soft contact, not make solid contact and barrel up the ball. Klassen putting on a show over there at first.
And Cade Kern takes the slider for the first strike of his at-bat. Ohio State product, .425 average, a home run, and 30 RBIs to his name for the Buckeyes. Kern was the 2020 Ohio Baseball Gatorade Player of the Year. His 325 average, I said 425, 325 average was tied for 9th in the Big Ten. So he's behind 1-2. The pitch from Mice. Just held off of the slider. Now the deuces are wild.
Yeah, back-to-back sliders. Kern able to fight off the first one, laid off this one.
And he'll sky that one deep to left center field. Shrek moving on to it. And he'll find it right before it drops for the third out. 1-2-3 inning for Justin Mice. We go back to the Kettleers offensive frame when we return on the Kettleers Digital Network. How high do I turn Lauren's mic up? Where's Lauren? Where's she going to be? Is that where she's going to be? Yeah, all the way up. Back to the Kettleers offense after Justin Mice goes 1-2-3 with 6, 7, and 8. 3, 4, and 5 will come up for the Kettleers. 4, 5, and 6, starting with R.J. Shrek, who one of the outfielders for Duke University when he's not playing for Cotuit. And the first pitch from Nick Clayton is low and away, a changeup. R.J. Schreck in 2020 batted 100 and only started 2 games, and then in 2021, exploded offensively, batting .337 as he grounds this one to short. Tough hop, and that'll sneak through Jeffries. So R.J. Schreck gets on base. We'll see how they score it. But that's what we were talking about. Schreck, second on team behind former Ket Joey Loperfido from Duke. Actually got on the All-ACC third team for his success this year.
So a similar start to this inning is the bottom of the first. Schreck gets aboard with a base hit up the middle. See if they learn from their mistakes and are still aggressive on the path, or they want to test the arm of Crooks again.
As Brooks Baldwin takes a strike on the outside corner, he comes from UNC Wilmington. .325 average, 15 home runs, and 45 RBIs. We go from a third-teamer in the ACC to a first-teamer in the CAA. Plenty of success from number 11 as the pickoff move is not successful. Schreck sneaks back in safely.
That's something coaches stress to them so much during these practices is leading off, getting your primary and secondary lead, but paying attention to the pitcher's pickoff move. You don't want to stray too far away from that corner of the infield.
So the 0-1 to Baldwin. It's off the plate, 1-1. Wareham Gatemen finished second in the CCBL West in 2019. The Kettleers, of course, finished third. The Gatemen were 24-18. And then they played the Kettleers in the playoffs, and the Kettleers ultimately advanced to beat Harwich in the championship. As that one misses again, 2-1.
Baldwin, another one of those DH options. He usually plays the outfield, but you need to get another left-handed bat against a right-handed starting pitcher. Luke Gold, another one of those options if it's a southpaw on the mound, but still feeling out the personnel, trying to figure out who your guys are. I think it's so interesting because the Kettleers had the chance to play in an exhibition game, whereas none of the other teams on the Cape had that luxury.
Yeah, and Brooks Baldwin has been tested around everywhere. He's listed as an infielder in college as he ropes that one to the right side, foul, but he put a good bat on it, evening it up at 2-2. But Baldwin played left field in the exhibition in the end parts of the game, DH'd a little bit, but typically he's an infielder, so maybe for Cotuit he'll be that super utility guy that every team seems to need nowadays. Two-two pitch from Clayton, and Baldwin chops that one over to second. Schreck tries to beat it out, but there will only be one play, a fielder's choice, as Baldwin heads to first. That's out number 1 for the Kettleers.
Great slide by R.J. Schreck to sort of disrupt the motion of the shortstop. No throw over to first. At least you get a runner aboard, and we'll concede that out at second for having one base runner. You want one instead of two.
And now they'll look to Ben Rice, who plays behind the plate and goes to school at Dartmouth. One of the few players that didn't have a college season this season, but in his past stats in college haven't been phenomenal. But then you look at his summer league stats in 2020, where he played in the Futures League for the Worcester Braves, and they are astounding to say the least.
Yeah, Rice hit .350 with 11 home runs and 36 RBIs. He's one of those guys, Dartmouth, sharp as a knife, but really his approach at the plate is what's getting him on the field. Defensively, he's good. It's arguable that Matt Donlin might be a better defensive catcher, but at the plate, that left-handed bat, the power that he can generate, hard to say no to.
As that changeup misses, and a 3-0 count to Ben Rice, who in that Futures League, he was named the MVP of the league with 11 home runs and a .683 slugging percentage. So there's no lack of power with a wood bat for number 25.
3-0 count. Wonder if they're giving him the green light. Big hole on the right side.
And instead, he'll take his walk on 4 straight pitches. And that'll bring up the exciting and electric center fielder in John Rhodes.
Rhodes will be the first right-handed hitter that Clayton will see. Not going to say a sigh of relief because he hit 2 home runs coming off the bench the other day, but better matchup for the pitcher now with a runner in scoring position.
And this is one of the guys that, you say Rice is really good with a wood bat. So is John Rhodes. .251 average this season with Kentucky. But then last season he played in the Northwoods League, which is fairly comparable to here. Batted .387 for the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. Had 20 RBIs. As he takes an 89-mile-per-hour fastball at the belt, 0-1. But yeah, you talk about Thursday's game, 2 home runs after striking out looking, and they were in the new Kettleers bullpens. No doubters to left field. This guy has plenty of power if he can get a hold of the ball.
Well, I'm sure that Nick Clayton knows not to leave a ball middle in because he will punish it if given the opportunity.
0-1 and a big swing for Rhodes there. He's quickly behind 0-2.
And that was the pitch that he wanted. It's really aggressive. What you'd like to see from him is maybe shorten up his swing. Try and push it out to right field because he's got that big hole in between second and first.
He's going to have to work the count here at 0-2 or find something he can hit. Here's the pitch. And he lifts that one high and deep to right field. Kern will move back and make the catch. Tagging up is Brooks Baldwin to third. And a productive out for John Rhodes as runners are at the corners for Eric Brown.
Eric Brown Jr. EBK at the plate.
Second baseman Eric Brown taking his first cuts in the CCBL as a Kettleer. From Coastal Carolina University. Nearly 40-point difference in his average from 2020 to 2021. .294 with 9 home runs and 38 RBIs.
You see that unorthodox stance, almost straight up and down. Lays the bat on his shoulder. I guess whatever works for you works for you. And it certainly has worked for him. You can look at his numbers.
Out of the state of Louisiana, he was ranked the second best shortstop and number 10 prospect, according to Perfect Game. And he chose to go to the Chanticleers, who have amazing pedigree in the college baseball world. As that one is blocked well by Crooks behind the plate, Brown is ahead 2-0. .2018 preseason Rawlings and Perfect Game All-American. You look at his resume that we've written up, and it just has so much stuff on this guy. He's actually a shortstop that's converting to second base this summer because Ryan Ritter is a wizard with the baseball glove. He's also waiting on deck.
He's just sort of your perfect case scenario of a middle infielder. He can play both spots. You can throw him at third if you need to. But his bat is what is really generating his playing time.
2-0 pitch. And Brown takes that one away. He's ahead 3-0. You got to think this is a 3-0 take to load up the bases for the ninth hitter, Ryan Ritter.
Almost undoubtedly. If you walk Brown here, pitcher's got to worry about Ritter not only as a batter, but as a walking threat. You don't want to start walking in runs in the second inning. Pitch count's going to start becoming a factor.
And it is a 3-0 take. It'll make it 3-1. Still a hitter's count for number 2. Last time we had a second baseman don a Kettleers uniform, he was the league MVP, Nick Gonzalez, who's now in the Pirates organization doing incredible things. 3-1 pitch. Brown lifts that one high and deep. Moving back is Diodati. He'll go as far as he can go. 3-run home run for Eric Brown, and the Kettleers strike first in 2021.
What did we say at the top of the broadcast? This team is going to jump all over fastballs. If you start letting these guys barrel up baseballs, it's going to be a long day. Eric Brown proving what everybody already knew. He can hit the long ball.
Nick Clayton left it over the middle, and Eric Brown didn't miss it. That left center field wall near the bullpen has had a lot of action over the last 3 days for the Kettleers right-handed hitters. And now the number 9 hitter, Ryan Ritter, all he has to do is work for himself now, because Eric Brown, his counterpart at second base, just cleared the base paths with a 3-run shot.
Great momentum builder there from Brown. Really start to get the confidence, give some breathing room to Justin Mice. Take some risks. I want to see these batters maybe get a little bit more aggressive now that they have a 3-0 lead. But knowing Coach Mike Roberts, he wants these guys to play their game versus straying too far from the path.
And Ritter, 275 average for Kentucky, 3 home runs and 20 RBIs, is ahead 2-0. He was actually a junior college prospect, but first he'll ground over to Jeffries, who'll throw across the diamond to first and get him for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before Eric Brown hits a 3-run shot to left field. The Kettleers lead 3-0 as we head to the 3rd.
Barbecue hot dogs with the toasted rolls. Carol's famous chicken salad pizza. Cola Cave ice cream. Voila.
Thanks, Chris and Steph. Welcome back to Lowell Park. Today, I have the enormous pleasure of being joined by our very own Cole Cummings parents. Thank you guys so much for joining us. First of all, happy Father's Day. Could you think of any better way to spend your Father's Day?
Pretty good. It's pretty good, yeah.
What's it like been here at Cotuit since you've joined the community?
This is the first time we've been to this part of the country, so it's been awesome. It's a lot different than where we're from, so it's been awesome.
What's been your favorite part? Have you went to the coop yet?
We came to the we haven't, but we came to the picnic last night, and that was pretty good. We saw the host families and got a feel for it.
What's it been like watching your son play for such a prestigious league?
It's a little, we're just kind of cautiously optimistic. It's just, we're very appreciative.
It's exciting. It's wonderful. I love watching him play, and this is a beautiful place, and so we're really, really excited. Today's his birthday, so that's fun.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Father's Day and a birthday.
Yep.
it's the best gift I could ever give him. Just saying, right?
Well, thank you guys so much. Can I get a Go Cats?
Go Cats.
Go Cats. Thank you.
Back to you, Chris and Steph. See you.
Excellent work, as always, by our sideline reporter, Lauren Kirkley. And we're back here with the top of the 3rd inning. Kettleers leading 3-0. Stephen Carey joined by my brother, Chris Carey, inside the booth. And it's going to be the number 9 hitter, Cody Jeffries, the shortstop, coming in. He's going to face Justin Mice, his 3rd inning of work. Jeffries out of the University of San Diego. He's a Torero, much like my sister, who graduated there.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Summerlin, on this fine opening day.
He slices one out to left field. Chasing is Shrek, and he cannot make the play. 0-1. Jeffries put up great numbers at the University of San Diego. 341 average with a home run and 32 RBIs.
And he's your typical contact hitter. We talked to Jack Sadegan, the play-by-play broadcaster from the University of Georgia, and he said this guy is not going to swing at anything outside of the strike zone.
And there's a pretty good example right there. Pretty close call, just misses the outer half, and leaving it up at 1-1. Chris, opening days have been an interesting thing for the Cotuit Kettleers. Last time these two teams met, 2013. Wareham beat Cotuit 5-3, and a certain right fielder that's now in the MLB had 2 hits and an RBI. Want to take a guess at who that is?
Not too sure, Steph. There's a lot of right fielders to choose from that time. I couldn't guess.
His name's George Springer.
Oh, interesting.
3-1 lifted high out to left field. Shrek camps underneath, and there's the first out of the 3rd. And Justin Mice is starting to settle in and get a little bit more comfortable with his defense behind him.
And now he's got run support after Eric Brown's home run to deep left field, making it a 3-0 game. This is just the start the Kettleers fans wanted.
But Stefan, there's so much more about opening day that we just didn't know about with the Kettleers.
As the first pitch falls in for a strike to Jim Jarvis, he grounded out to the shortstop his last time up. But yeah, Chris, you're absolutely right. Since 1990, Cotuit is 12-15-3 on opening day. Not exactly the best record, but the silver lining is that Wareham is 14-15-1, so similar records. But a big rivalry has developed between these two teams as the 0-2 is up and away. Jarvis, bit of family history. His father played football at the University of San Diego as this one is shot into the shift. Ritter makes the throw in time to first, and 2 are down in the top of the 3rd inning.
That's back-to-back groundouts for Jim Jarvis to short. Ritter's played him perfectly both times, and it looks like they've read the scouting report. Ritter's just such a great defensive shortstop that you just can't get it past him most times, especially in the shift. He covers so much ground and so quickly fires it over to first.
Trace Gonzalez back up for the 2nd time. He rolled over to first his first time up. One of the first plays that gave Blake Klassen some action. The 0-1 is spiked in the dirt. Beautiful scene here at Lowell Park. Words can't really describe it unless you're here. Fans are excited to be at the ballpark once again. As the 2-1 comes in from Mice. Sawed off by Trace Gonzalez. Ritter will camp underneath and make the play. 3 up, 3 down as we enter the bottom half of the 3rd inning on the Kettleers Digital Network. Turn it over to the top of the order. The Kettleers are going 1, 2, 3 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Chris, with all these batters on the Kettleers that can really mash a baseball, you can't go without saying that the Wareham Gatemen have had some of that in the past too.
Yes, Steph. They've had 9 batting champions in their history, including Lance Berkman in 1996, who had a .352 average. He led the league in batting average, and considering his career that he followed up with that, it makes a lot of sense at this point. But yeah, no, the 186 All-Stars for Wareham in their history, followed up by 13 repeat All-Stars. One of them was Brandon Workman.
First pitch to Klassen clips the outside corner, 0-1. You have 1 batting title for each championship that you have. I mean, that's 18. That's what the Kettleers are looking for in championships alone, but certainly no number to slouch at. The 0-1 fouled back into the screening. Klassen, no slouch at the plate either. Had a base hit up the middle his first time up. He opened up the offense for the Kettleers. Couldn't do anything with it because he was caught stealing by Crooks behind the plate, excuse me. 0-2 on its way.
And I know Clayton gave up that home run to Eric Brown, but that's a good changeup. He's got some late action tailing away from the plate. And against the left-handed hitter, that's probably the hardest pitch that they're going to face to read because it just breaks at the end, the last second.
1-2 coming. Foul to the left side and out of play. Count will stay the same at 1-2. Mentioned Klassen really had some success at Eastern Oklahoma State. Still curious how that success is going to translate back into the Division I game after sitting out for a year from it after starting his career at Arizona. But with that base hit in the first, I don't think there's a whole lot to be worried about with him.
No, he's definitely a Division I athlete for sure. And, you know, sometimes guys have to figure themselves out, fine-tune a few things at the junior college level. Sometimes the junior college athletes are arguably better than the D1 athletes because they take time to go down to lower levels and then they come back stronger than ever. So Klassen is hoping to do that. And this to the Kettleers, they saw him in junior college. Peter Flaherty Jr. picked him up, and they've got nothing but positive things to say about his ability and awareness at the plate to hit the ball to all sides of the field, also play excellent defense at first base and in the outfield.
After starting the count at 0-2, Klassen's worked at full, so that's a big part of being a batter that gets overlooked is the ability to be patient and not swing at strikes outside the zone. The pitch. Couldn't hold up. Rick Emerson rings him up, and there's the first out of the inning. And the first strikeout for Nick Clayton.
Yeah, Clayton strikes out Klassen, and that's the first strikeout of the game for anybody on these teams. And that just handcuffed Klassen. He went around, couldn't hold up. So unfortunate start for the Kettleers in the third.
Cole Cummings back up after grounding out to short, and he shoots one out into right field. There's a birthday base hit. Cummings turns 23 today. His parents just told us. It's good to see him get aboard and get some juice early in the Cape Cod Baseball League season.
Yeah, that pitch was left right over the middle, shot the gap between second and first, ambushed him all over. Now a one-out base hit, base runner for the Kettleers with a lot of speed, so wouldn't be surprised if they work something up here with Dylan Beavers. Maybe a hit-and-run opportunity from Coach Roberts.
And if you want to go on that changeup or one of those breaking pitches that's not going to be so quick for a release coming out of the hand of Crooks. Big lead coming. Beavers swings at a pitch in the dirt. It's 0-1.
Dylan Beavers is just one of the most successful players in the Pac-12 right now, a highly projected prospect. One of the reasons that these scouts are coming out in droves to see this guy play. And it'll be exciting to see him play for the Kettleers.
0-1 misses outside, leaving it up. Cummings taking big leads over at first. Want to see if he's aggressive here on a 1-1 count. He doesn't go, and Beavers fouls it back. Start to hear the groans from fans. That ball may have hit a car in the parking lot. Always want to park further back if you have the option.
Now I'm glad I didn't park my car here.
Now a 1-2 count to Beavers. Cummings standing on first. The pitch. Swing and a miss, and Beavers is down on strikes. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Nick Clayton. You have to think he's starting to get into his groove a little bit after that 3-run home run from Eric Brown,
Yeah, Steph, he's trying to settle in here. 3-run home run. He just has to continue working on his craft, throwing from the stretch. But this top-to-bottom Cotuit Kettleers lineup is hard to face second, third time around. So he has to pull into his bag of tricks and see what he can do against guys like R.J. Schreck.
He'll float one out to right field. Kern gets underneath. And there's the third out of the inning. We'll be back with the fourth on the Kettleers Digital Network.
How about this? These stats. Maybe we can see CDL annual records and stats. 1,528, 1988. They had 27 triples in 1991. 134 stolen bases in 1998 and 2000. Home wins. They got the most home wins out of any team. I have other stuff. Okay. Nice back at work in the fourth.
Justin Mice back out for his fourth inning of work. Kettleers staying with that 3-0 lead. This team is one that has quite a few accolades, Chris, as I understand it.
Yeah, Wareham coming up to bat right now. They have a lot of annual records. First in at-bats, they had 1,528 in 1988. They had 27 triples in 1991, 134 stolen bases over 2 seasons. They had 134 in 1988 and then 2000, and home wins with 18 in 1982 and 2000.
Well, now stands in Paul Skeens. He has the lone Wareham Gatemen hit. That came in the top of the first inning. He swings and misses on a first pitch strike, 0-1. Wareham, last championship came in 2018, so still pretty fresh for them. Kettleers, of course, winning the league in 2019. But that 2018 championship win came under Bill Livesey, who is not on the managerial staff. It's the 0-2 misses low and inside.
Yeah, they have plenty of pedigree on their staff, though. Jerry Weinstein, who is in his 3rd season, they kind of exchanged who the head coach is. He coached in 2016, 2019. He actually coached for the Kettleers as a pitching coach in 2018 when Wareham won their championship. And then he went back to Wareham in 2019. He's a Sacramento City College Athletic Hall of Famer. And then listen to this. He won Baseball America's Tony Gwynn Lifetime Achievement Award in 2018.
Certainly quite the man to have in your dugout. As the 2-2 misses away, slider started to fade away, and the count runs full. But you mentioned Weinstein and Snedden are the 2 men in the dugout as Paul Skeens draws a walk. That's not to be outdone by Coach Mike Roberts, who is responsible for 3 Cotuit Kettleers championships, 2019, 2013, and 2010.
And Steph, it's my understanding that Coach Roberts also coached for the Wareham Gatemen.
Yes, he did in 2000 and in 1984.
Stark difference between the years.
First pitch jumped all over it, and this is a no-doubter into right field. Owen Diodati brings the Gatemen within 1.
And that's the guy that had to see the home run go from Eric Brown. Mice left it over the middle. Diodati, I mean, just Dylan Beavers didn't even turn on that one. And just like that, it's a 3-2 ball game, one run difference.
Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Mice allows his first runs. But you turn the page, Justin Williams now stands in. He lined out to second base with runners in scoring position his last time up. That was a big play for the confidence of Eric Brown after bobbling a grounder earlier in the inning. To be able to close out that inning in good fashion without letting a run score is certainly good for a defender's psyche.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just going back on that home run, Justin Mice has done so well up until this point that now he has to settle even more in. It's a little less comfortable of a situation. Get that first out at the top of the 4th inning. He's still yet to record a strikeout. Now, he's pitched to contact very well, but for his own confidence, he needs to get one of these guys down on strikes.
1-2 on its way. Bounce just foul to the left side, so it'll stay at 1-2. But I think you're absolutely right. Mice needs to get that first strikeout. It seemed to be a little bit elusive. These Gatemen batters, like we said, we're going to be contact hitters, stay on top of the ball, mostly grounders, run things out, be scrappy to get aboard. But with that 2-run home run, start to look a little bit more like the Kettleers bats as Williams spoils the 1-2.
And it's not like Mice isn't going right at these hitters throwing strikes. He's done a really good job commanding the zone. But in this situation here, he really has to rear back and throw him something that they just can't hit. And they've been timing it up at least to foul the ball away to this point.
93-mile-an-hour fastball misses low and away. He took a shot at the outside corner, which has been working for him all day long, but couldn't get the call there from Pat Sparky Burns behind the plate. 2-2, shot out into left field. R.J. Schreck will get in front of it. Now that is 3 straight base runners. Excuse me, 3 straight runners aboard for the Wareham Gatemen.
So a walk, a 2-run home run, and a base hit. A little bit more adversity for Justin Mice. Double play ball situation here would be just what the doctor ordered for the Kettleers fans and number 37.
Coach Mike Roberts will walk out to the mound, and this may be the end of the line for Justin Mice.
I think this is more of a conversation of, hey, are you still good out there? What's not working? What is working? It's trying to get into his head a little bit and tell him what he needs to do, because Coach Roberts is a student of the game, very analytical, cerebral guy. And probably talking about Despina, who has no lack of power himself. Last thing they want to do is give up the lead here with a 2-run home run, or even, a first base clearing double or triple that would score Justin Williams for first base.
Yeah, Chris, you're exactly right. That's what Coach Roberts was doing, and I think that's the right call. It's only game 1. These guys have not had a ton of innings to throw against this type of competition. They're still getting used to it. So Mice back out, runner on first base, nobody out. 3-2, Cotuit Kettleer lead. As a bunt is shown by Despina, but rolls foul.
And with no outs, that's a really good call there. I mean, move that runner over into scoring position, try and get it to Jimmy Crooks, who's a great offensive player from Oklahoma, see if he can score the runner from second base, and then just like that, the game's all tied up.
And that's a part of baseball that we really don't see too often anymore. Analytics would have the big, heavy hitters in the 6 or 7 spot swing away, try and move guys over by using the bat, or maybe try and generate home runs or big doubles or however many extra base hits you could possibly gather. But seeing him square down a bunt is sort of a lost art in baseball nowadays.
Nice curveball there. And that's a very confident pitch for Justin Mice to make at 0-1 with nobody out after giving up 2 runs in this inning.
0-2 coming. Fouled back towards us. I hope there's car insurance back there, because there have been some line drives right over the netting.
And you have to remember, out the hand of Justin Mice, it's about 94, 95. So then off the bat, add a few extra miles per hour on that. That's coming straight at their windows.
Well, the vehicles are the only line of defense to passing traffic on Lowell Avenue as Mice gets his first strikeout. He freezes Despina, and that's a welcomed strikeout for the Cotuit Kettleers.
And that's a confidence-boosting strikeout now, because now you have a strikeout looking, a runner on first. If you can get the guy to roll over, maybe a double play situation. But it looks like he won't be able to do that. It'll be a new pitcher for Cotuit.
That's going to be the end of the line for Justin Mikes. His stats, he went 3 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned with a walk and a strikeout. So we'll be back with more on the new pitching situation after this.
Now pitching to the Kettleers, number 31, Jonathan Ratton. Walker. Ratton, number 31 now pitching to the Kettleers. And we've got some special people, members of our Kettleers players in the stands with us today. Coming close by and far away, from the east, all the way to the west. From Plymouth, just over the bridge, we have Jim and Tracy Wall, parents of pitcher Joey Wall. From Lowell, we have Randy and Jan Tyler, parents of operator Johnny Tyler. And then, all the way from Orange, California, we have Ray and Jake Cummings.
Justin Meiss's day is over. He'll inherit any runs that come across with that runner on first base. So the answer to clean up the, I wouldn't call it a mess, but the situation in front of the Kettleers is Dalton Radens, a right-handed pitching rising senior out of Wofford College.
Yeah, Radens 6-0 at Wofford for the Terriers. 2.59 ERA this season with 62 strikeouts, and he's one of the guys that has not changed at all from 2020 to 2021. Usually you see some buffers, some change. He's a guy that's closed out games. He's been a long reliever. 6.0 or 6-0, 2.59, 62 strikeouts over 59 innings pitched with 7 saves. In 2020, he had a 4-0 record. So over the last 2 years, he's 10-0 in college. 2.35 ERA with 18 strikeouts and 23 innings pitched, which ranked him first in the SoCon and second in the nation in victories. So this guy is welcome to Cotuit, and he also throws from the sidearm positioning, which throws off hitters left and right, and why he was so successful in SoCon this year.
Well, and you were talking about junior college players earlier. He did spend 1 season at Georgia Highlands College where he was 4-4 with 1 save in 17 appearances. So he's in mop-up duty right now. It isn't quite so bad as trailing to another team, but a little bit dangerous. The Gatemen starting to get a little bit more confidence at the plate. We'll see what he can do with the 7 and 8 batters for Wareham. And the first man he'll see is Jimmy Crooks, who grounded out to Blake Klassen at first base. First pitch, line shot to right field. Klassen just puts his glove up. Beavers will make the throw. No advance to third. And after 1 pitch, there's runners on first and second with only 1 out.
Well, luckily for the Kettleers, Justin Williams had a late jump on that base hit, and Beavers' arm was totally going to test him over at third, so he slammed the brakes and stayed at second. Still a double play situation in effect if Brown and Ritter can work together here, but now Radens has to lock in, try and get that second out at least without letting a run go across.
Gatemen threatening to tie the game or more. Here with Cade Kern, who flew out to center his first time up. He shows bunt, lays one down, and it will go foul to the left side. Folks, if you notice, the Kettleers infield is a little bit different than most other major, minor, or college infields. Chalk line doesn't extend to third base? Well, that's because the grass is cut so evenly that the dimensions are perfect for what is fair and what is foul. So definitely an interesting thing to see and what makes Lowell Park so unique.
The line of grass is the line of demarcation at Lowell Park is just truly a wonderful place. So interesting.
0-1 pitch. Catches the inside corner, and Radens is quickly ahead 0-2.
And that's just a beautiful slider on the back door. Excuse me, front door slider that just went at the waist and jutted out at the last second against Kern. Had nothing to do with it.
That's that horizontal movement that a side armor can give you. The 0-2. Way outside. Good protection there by Ben Rice behind the plate.
Rice also has really good pop time behind the plate. He can throw down very, very fast. It's another quality that number 25 possesses as the catcher, and a good quality to have with the amount of stolen bases that try to be tested in the Cape League.
1-2 coming. Just misses despite the frame job from Ben Rice. It evens it up at 2-2. See Coach Mike Roberts sort of pacing by where the on-deck circle is, communicating with his pitcher, trying to game plan how to best attack this at-bat. If anybody knows the way to approach an in-game situation, it's Mike Roberts. 2-2. Swing and a miss, and a big strikeout from Dalton Radens to get the second out of the inning.
Right there, he just goes back to what works. It's the slider, cuts out at the end. Kern didn't know what to do with it, took a big swing and missed. And that's a very important strikeout in the fourth inning for the Kettleers.
Cody Jeffries back up for the second time, much like his counterpart Cade Kern in front of him. He flew out to center his first time up. See a slight shift with Ritter playing behind the second base bag. Radin steps off, keeping the runner honest at second base.
You got to look at Cole Cummings, too. He's playing really far in at the third baseman on the infield grass. He understands that Cody Jeffries can absolutely put the ball to all fields.
First pitch coming. Misses upstairs, 1-0. Interesting to see the Cotuit fans pretty much clump to one side. They like this Cotuit Kettleers bench side, the third base side. It is a cluster. And there's that backdoor slider that you're talking about. Just grazes the outside, evens it up at 1-1.
It's a front door for the righties, a back door for the lefties, but nonetheless, he has mastered that pitch. And that's probably his out pitch if we're going to see any all season long, and it is a beauty.
One. Goes with it again, but can't catch the outside. 2-1 the count.
You were talking about the seats. Talk about the new right side seats above the first base dugout. The Kettleers just got that over the last year or two. Mike Roberts was an integral part in getting those, and they just make the park that was already so beautiful even more beautiful and enjoyable for the fan base.
2-1 pitch. Popped up in the infield. Cummings calls everyone off. He'll glove it, and the Kets are out of the inning. 2 runs come across for the Gatemen, but the Kets still hold the lead. We'll be back on the Kettleers Digital Network. Brooks Baldwin coming up for the second time. He grounded into a fielder's choice his first time aboard, but later came across to score a run on that 3-run home run from Eric Brown. As we mentioned, Brooks, a student at UNC Wilmington, born in Whiteville, North Carolina. The pitch. Called strike despite the drop from Crooks behind the plate, 0-1. Little interesting tidbit about Brooks. He has baseball in his blood. His father played at Clemson University. I know our sideline reporter Lauren Kirkley will be happy to hear that. In 1984 through 1987, where he was the ACC Player of the Year in 1986. He was drafted by the Cleveland Indians in the 11th round of the 1987 MLB draft, as that one is fouled high and deep to the right side. But he played in both the Cleveland and Seattle organizations. So you got to think that Brooks has had a little bit of coaching at home when he gets away from the baseball field.
Oh, and absolutely. And this guy going through the process of being in front of scouts, his dad knows what it's like to play for a minor league organization and how much demand that takes. And Baldwin, just one of those guys that had a breakout year in 2021, went from a 258 hitter to a 325 hitter. And so he's got his uncle who played and coached, his dad. All of these players have had some type of influence. But right here, Brooks has a great support system in his family.
As Baldwin sends one out into left center field, Gonzalez makes the catch. Starting to see the fly ball power coming off the bats in these middle innings of the game. And now it'll be Ben Rice's turn.
And if these guys can send it to the outfield high enough, the sun is bright enough to cause just a little bit of trouble. Especially in that left center and right center field, it looks super light, and as you move closer in, the shadows start to loom over the pitcher's mound left side of the infield.
First pitch to Rice falls in for a strike, 0-1.
It's a good curveball from Nick Clayton, backdoor. He looks to be more comfortable now with just a 1-run difference.
One misses outside, 1-1. More family ties coming with Ben Rice's family. His dad played baseball at Brown in the mid-'80s, and his brother is a distance swimmer at the University of Tennessee.
Man, father of Brown, catcher at Dartmouth. Plenty of intelligent individuals in the Rice family, and he made the smart decision to come to Cotuit. Now he's their starting catcher on opening day. What a story for a guy who didn't play the 2021 season but did so well in the Woodbat Futures League in 2020.
Father at Brown, son at Dartmouth. I wonder what those dinner conversations are like when he gets home. The 2-1. Clayton gets the call. Looked a little questionable, but it evens up at 2-2.
Yeah, I wonder what those conversations are like. Maybe about thermodynamics or the theory of life, something like that. These guys are just so incredibly smart.
As Rice jumps all over the 2-2 pitch, sends it out into the left field gap, and that's going to get down. Rice rounding first. He'll stand up, takes a big turn around second, but he'll get in with a 1-out double.
Maybe their conversations at the dinner table are more about inside-out approach, because right there he shoots the gap in left center field, and a perfect start for the Kettleers in the fourth as he passes the baton to John Rhodes. Try and give another run of insurance to Ray Dans or whoever else is next in relief for the Kettleers.
Rhodes had a bit of solid contact of his own his first time up. Lined out to right field, which would later advance Brooks Baldwin over to third base on the tag. As we mentioned, he had a heck of a game on Thursday. 2 home runs to left field. See a big hole between shortstop and second. First pitch to Rhodes is an inside strike called.
That changeup's been working for Nick Clayton recently. He's been able to get that inside-outside corner depending on the batter. It's only 81, so these guys have to wait back just a little bit more, and they haven't been able to time it up yet.
Certainly the pitch he's thrown when he needs a strike. Now he goes back to a fastball at the knees, 0-2.
You know, last time Rhodes was behind 0-2 and gave up a sacrifice fly to right. Maybe that's his approach here, is to let the strikes go by and then play a more defensive at-bat.
There's no doubt about it that number 8 is one of the guys that scouts come to watch these games for. The pitch. Line drive sent out into left field. That's going to get down. Rice coming around third. Rhodes is going to deliver with the 4th run of the game and his first RBI of the season. Back-to-back doubles extends the Cotuit Kettleer lead to 2.
And that's a great two-strike approach, right? Inside-out swing to left field. That drops in. His speed around the base paths was blazing. Slide in feet first. Scores Ben Rice, the speedy catcher from second base. Kettleers back in business with a 2-run lead. And with 1 out, they can keep going with Eric Brown, who we all know what he did his first time up in the 2nd inning.
Clayton not out of the woods by any means, with Brown standing in the right side batter's box. Inside strike called, 0-1. Brown came in clutch with 2 strikes, driving in 3. Tons of power coming off the bat of the second baseman. Ball buried in the dirt. John Rhodes will stay at second.
So for Brown, I mean, a home run would be wonderful, but all he has to do is, manufacture a base hit to the opposite field, because that huge gap in the right side, he's looking there, and Rhodes will easily score from second base because the outfield is playing at above medium depth.
Brown staring down a 1-1 count. Pitch, swinging for the fences, but couldn't catch up to it, 1-2.
It's a good, pretty pitch there from Clayton. 81 off the hand. It looked like a changeup, and Brown was ready to get his 2nd home run of the game.
Looks like he may have ripped that batting glove on the swing. Tons of friction when you're going for the fence like that.
Either that, Steph, or he's applying pine tar to make the bat a little bit more sticky in the grip. It looks like he might have almost lost that bat. And the last thing we would want is all of these wonderful Kettleer fans to have to dodge a bat on the left side above the dugout.
Don't the cars have enough to worry about with foul balls?
Yeah, exactly. Now the fans have to dodge not only baseballs, but bats.
1-2. Brown takes a shot at right, but it goes foul. And we'll do it again. Shadows starting to creep in on the left side of the infield and the deeper parts of left field. Could be a welcome sign for some of the outfielders. As the pitch from Clayton comes in, swing and a miss from Brown. He's down on strikes, and 2 are down for the Kettleers.
And that looked like a slider that was buried in the dirt, placed low and away. Brown couldn't resist. Nice big strikeout there from Clayton, his 3rd of the game. But he has to deal with John Rhodes' teammate, Ryan Ritter.
I was just about to say, a familiar situation for Ritter, having Rhodes on second as his teammate, trying to drive him in. These guys have that Kentucky connection. First pitch, buried in the dirt. Excellent work by Crooks to keep that in front of him.
And he's been a wall back there so far. The Kettleers haven't been able to get a read on the base paths with him behind the plate. Jack Sadegan, the broadcaster, said he's been such a joy to watch at the minimal practices that they've had, because he takes his blocking very seriously as well as his hitting. And right now he's putting on a clinic behind the plate and bailing out Nick Clayton.
1-0 pitch. Throw back to second, not in time. John Rhodes starting to get in the head of Nick Clayton. That's exactly what Mike Roberts wants with his base runners.
Well, we saw at their little performance yesterday. He stresses that. Get far off the bag. Do whatever you can, because one mistake pitch can end up in the trees for your teammate.
Another ball buried in the dirt, but it'll go 2-0.
And this is a good situation for Ritter now. 2-0 count, 2 outs. Nice gap between second and first, just like Browns. Some point or another, you're going to have to settle in, try and strike out the right here. You got the top of the order in Blake Klassen, who already has a hit, who bats from the left side.
Ritter sends one out into left field. That's starting to fall. That's going to get down, and he's going to bat in John Rhodes. An RBI single from Ryan Ritter extends the lead to 3. It is the Kentucky inning here at Lowell Park.
And that was just a bloop single that happened to find some green grass. Ritter's happy it happened. The inning is extended. 5-2 Kettleers now. And maybe the perfect time to talk to Tyler Clayton about what you want to do, whether it's call someone to the bullpen or not.
So that's going to be the end of the day for Nick Clayton. We'll be back after we find out who will be coming in relief.
Have you got the name of this guy?
Now pitching for Wareham, number 26, Lowell. San Diego State.
Two outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Kettleers have added 2 more runs. And that's the end of the day for Nick Clayton. 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. The walk and 3 strikeouts. So not an ideal day from the Gatemen starting pitcher, but they do have 2 outs. However, there is a runner on first, and that's Ryan Ritter, the man who brought home John Rhodes from second just a few short minutes ago. Simus, right-hander out of San Diego State. He's 0-1 with a 9 ERA over 15 appearances. Batters that face him have a .329 average. So this could be a chance for Cotuit to add on even more. With Blake Klassen, who's already reached on a base hit in the 1st inning.
And now we have to remember that Clayton, though he's given up 5 runs now, still retains whatever happens to Ritter on first base.
First pitch to Klassen, fouled back. Cars beware. And no response for the crowd, so I can assume someone's insurance isn't getting docked later today. But it's 0-1. Ritter, big lead at first. He's going. Throw coming. On its way, and it is in time. Looks like Ritter thought he got in there safely, but another great throw by Crooks will end the inning for the Kettleers, but not before they add 2 more. We'll enter the top of the 5th on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Two more runs come in to score for the Kettleers in the bottom of the 4th inning. Now we're in the 5th for the top of the order. Dalton Radans back at work for Cotuit. After coming into kind of a hectic inning for the starter, Justin Mice, he gave up a hit, struck someone out, and then gave up a pop out to third to Cody Jeffries. And now he'll have to face the top of the order for his first time, starting with Jim Jarvis, who has a pair of groundouts to Ryan Ritter.
Yeah, both groundouts right into the shift to Ritter behind the second base bag. That's got to be frustrating because if there's no shift on, that's a hit 9 times out of 10.
And now Jarvis is no stranger to speed on the base paths. This last year he went 5 for 5 in stolen bases for Alabama, and his bat goes flying. Good reaction there by Trace Gonzalez to duck under that, or else he would have had a raspberry on his face, to say the least. Now it's a 1-1 count for Jarvis. Jarvis's brother Luke played baseball at Auburn before getting drafted by the Miami Marlins. He's looking to follow suit here at some point as he takes in a strike at 1-2.
Radans just threw that pitch at 68 miles an hour. We know we talk about speed and high velocity pitches, but sometimes those slower pitches that just loop in there and have a ton of movement mess with hitters, even more.
And it surely seems that Radans is living proof that these guys can throw with accuracy more than velocity and still be successful at the highest level in college, as the count runs full at 3-2. Payoff pitch, and that's looped into center field. Jarvis taking a big turn. He's going to chuck for second. Rhodes throwing to second. It is off the line, and sliding into second for a double is Jim Jarvis. Good start for the Gatemen in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, Rhodes didn't really have the best beat on that ball. Moving to his left, having to step up, make a throw almost across his body with all of his momentum going towards the right field line. I think that's going to be the end of the day for Radans.
It may well be after giving up that double. Probably should have been a single, but they didn't recover quickly enough, and the speedy Jim Jarvis went around the base paths. And yes, that will be the end of the day for Dalton Radans, but make no mistake, he had plenty of success mopping up the slight mess that Justin Mice created. After 2 runs came in to score in the 5th, we'll see who's up next for the Kettleers here in the 5th.
And this Father's Day, we have a special former Kettleer in attendance here at Lowell Park today. 78-year-old Jack Madero is a member of the Kettleer championship team back in 1960, 61, and 62. Jack actually was a junior in high school when he tried out and made the Kettleers 61 years ago. He started at second base, fourth down, and even as a backup catcher. Let's give a warm Father's Day welcome to Jack Madero.
So he came out after Ritter got the hit. But he was, throw down a second. What did we get? We get 2 more last inning?
Now pitching for the Kettleers on the pitching to Andre Granello. Down Riverside. Granello, number 52. Now pitching for the Kettleers.
Oh, yeah, it's a little spot. It's Brown and Brown. Not much on this guy, so I'm going to start. Yeah. Definitely a better broadcast. Oh, there's still so much left. New pitcher for the Kettleers, it'll be number 52, Andre Granillo, out of UC Riverside. The tall, hard-throwing right-handed pitcher at 6'4", 230. He's going to be an incoming redshirt junior this season at UC Riverside. He was 2-0 with a 6.10 ERA, 10.1 innings pitched. So he's looking to capitalize on this opportunity with Cotuit, but also play damage control with the runner at second base and Jim Jarvis while dealing with Trace Gonzalez, who is 0 for 2 thus far. First fastball, 94 on the gun, grazes the outside corner for a strike, 0-1 for Gonzalez. Not much on Granillo. The only thing we know is he's from Hemet, California. As the 0-1 comes in, it'll make it 1-1.
And that's 94 running inside. He looks like he throws that with ease.
One pitch to Gonzalez, and that's lifted to center. Rhodes breaks back, now moves forward. Tagging is Jim Jarvis. The throw will be on line, but Jarvis will sneak into third right before the ball came in. So that's the first out. Productive one for Trace Gonzalez. It'll move Jarvis over 90 feet and welcome Paul Skeens, who has a hit and a walk and a run scored to his name this game.
Yep, Skeens has been one of the better batters for Wareham so far today. Had that single in the first inning, then walked. Showing both sides of what a good patient hitter can do.
There's 95 from Granillo. Gets the strike call behind the plate from Pat Burns. One of the best home plate umpires the Cape League has to offer. The 0-1 slider is lifted out of play. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Granillo. I've liked what I've seen from Granillo in the small sample size. He's really going at these batters, commanding with that fastball, daring them to catch up to it. Not throwing a lot of junk. He knows he has that runner on third, and if he's not 100% confident, he doesn't want to allow a run with the pass ball. He says, beat me with your bat, not with an error on my part.
Strikeout would be perfect here, and he does just that with the breaking ball. Skeens is going to have to walk back to his dugout now with 2 outs, excuse me. And it'll be Owen Diodati. We'll have the chance to score Jim Jarvis and maybe more after that 2-run home run in the 4th.
What a job Granillo's done so far. Right as I'm saying it about the fastball, he comes back with the slider that catches the outside corner and just buckles up Paul Skeens. Beautiful pitching.
Diodati, a former 29th round pick from the Toronto Blue Jays. He's actually from Canada, from Niagara Falls in Ontario, as he takes the ball outside. He's also listed as an excellent hockey player, as he takes a big cut at a curveball and misses. Talk about this Wareham Gatemen team. They've had their slew of MVPs, 10 in their history, 12 pitchers of the year, 9 batting champions, and they've been to the playoffs quite a few times. As the 1-1 comes in and is slapped foul over the left side. Some names you might know, Steph. Mo Vaughn in 1988, and then Kyle Schwarber, World Series champion for the Chicago Cubs in 2016. This time in 2012, won the playoff MVP awards for the Wareham Gatemen.
Yeah, it just goes to show all the talent that the Cape League has to offer. And you never know who's going to be that next World Series champion. We may be watching one of them right now. And with the percentage of players in the MLB that played in the Cape League, it's more or less likely than it is certain.
I feel like the word to use there is plausible at this point. These guys, you never know what stars can come through. In the magazine that we read, the book that we got for the broadcast, it said in 2019, 333 players played in an MLB game that were Cape Cod players. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they were everyday guys. They might have been moving up and down from the minors, but look at that number. You don't get that anywhere else in the world when it comes to a summer league, and that's why the Cape Cod League is widely regarded as the best amateur baseball league in the world.
Well, if you do a 25-man roster, that makes up 13-plus MLB teams.
2-2, broken bat, and that is fouled away. That's the second of the game for the Gatemen.
Yeah, that's what 96 in on the hands will do to you.
You can see them pick up just a little chip of that bat, and it's definitely broken as Diodati has to get another wand to swing against the hard-throwing Granillo, who's been hammering the inside of the zone against him.
Price of wood's going up. You know what they say.
Well, that's one thing. There's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and you breaking your bat at the Cape League. Because these guys throw hard, and they throw inside. You have to be ready. 2-2 from Granillo, and that's lifted high and deep to left field. Shrek moving back, and that one is off the wall. That'll easily score Jim Jarvis. And Diodati continues his offensive onslaught against the right-handed pitching of the Kettleers. He gets a double to add to his home run. It's 5-3, Kettleers over Wareham.
So that run's going to be inherited by Dalton Radins, I do believe. So his final line is going to be 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 run, and 2 strikeouts.
So now it's Justin Williams. He has a hit to his name, as well as lining out to second, and Eric Brown. He's ahead 1-0. As Granillo tries to spot one up and away, but misses. It's now 2-0 to Williams.
Last thing the Kettleers want to do is allow the Gatemen to bring it within one once more. And that time he went around on the high fastball. It's 2-1 now.
Yeah, no appeal either. Sparky Burns saw a full swing there. He didn't even want to leave it up to chance.
Two-one pitch. Slider in on the hand, sliced foul over the right side dugout. It'll be all even at 2 with 2 outs. This has been a very entertaining game thus far at Lowell Park for Game 1. You know Coach Roberts more than anybody wants to walk away with a win in front of his home crowd who has been yearning for baseball. And Granillo gets Williams right there on the high fastball. 96 that he's seen. We'll head to the bottom half of the 5th when we return on the Cotuit Kettleers Digital Network. Bottom of the 5th here, Cole Seamus still working for the Gatemen. They add one more run to make it 5-3, but the top of the order for the Kettleers looks to extend that run lead, starting with Blake Klassen. Some more on Cole Seamus. His freshman year he spent at Fresno City College and then took his COVID year to go to the University of San Diego, which has...
Yeah, I think it was San Diego State.
You're correct, San Diego State, excuse me, which also creates plenty of talented prospects in the game of baseball as Klassen takes a changeup for strike number 1. His father, Bill, actually played for the White Sox from 1995 to 2000. So he's another guy with a dad that has pro pedigree. Changeup comes again, and Klassen fouls that one away behind 0-2.
I like to see those families that have baseball in their blood. Really generates, a generational appreciation for the game, and similar approaches. You start to see the Mark II. Look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and what he's doing in the MLB.
0-2 pitch, and Klassen fouls that one into the glove of Crooks, and he'll be retired on strikes as we move to Cole Cummings. As you heard, it is Cole Cummings' 23rd birthday. Already has a single today, would like to do more damage for the Kettleers in the 2 spot. Also grounded out to short in the 1st inning.
Yeah, I was wondering how Cole Seamus would react, because we really didn't get to see him pitch all that much. Last inning, Ryan Ritter was thrown out at second by Jimmy Crooks. So coming right at Blake Klassen, top of the order, striking him out. It's a welcome sign for Jerry Weinstein.
as Cummings is behind 0-2. Luckily for Cole Cummings, probably not say this on his birthday, but if baseball doesn't work out, he has a great backup plan. He aspires to be a corporate lawyer. Good to see him doing it both on the field and in the classroom as well. And we heard from his parents today as well. Wonderful couple. Happy Father's Day to Cole's father. Happy birthday to Cole. And now hopefully he can win the battle of the two Coles. Of course, his name is spelled C-O-L-E, and Cole, the pitcher, Seamus, is spelled K-O-H-L. 1-2 pitch. And this time, Cole with a K wins that battle. And there's quickly down 2 outs for Dylan Beavers. Back-to-back strikeouts for Seamus. Beavers was a USA Today All-USA honorable mention as a senior in high school. And it just continued to go from there as he misses a beautiful breaking ball from Seamus.
Yeah, Seamus has been nothing short of impressive since he's come in. Really great command with his fastball, his slider, and there we saw the curveball.
Oh, 1 pitch to Beavers, and he skies that one deep towards right. Kern has to move back, now forward fighting the sun, and he'll make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Great relief pitching from Cole Seamus. We head to the 6th on the Kettleers Digital Network. Two strikeouts looking for Andre Granillo last inning. And now he'll have to face Angelo Despina, who's 0 for 2 with a pop out to 3rd and a strikeout looking. He'll take a changeup for strike number 1.
Yeah, Granillo allowed that double that brought home the 3rd run of the game for Wareham, and he didn't have to inherit that run, but other than that, pretty smooth sailing. You mentioned the 2 strikeouts looking. He had that line out to right field, which really kicked off the momentum to get out of the inning. So good relief there from Granillo after Radens only went 2/3 of an inning.
1-1 grounded over to Brown on 1 hop. He'll make quick work of Despina for the 1st out of the 6th. So now we see Jimmy Crooks, who's been a defensive thorn in the Kettleers side, to say the least, Steph.
Yeah, he got it done with a single in the 4th inning, but really where he's shined the most has been behind the plate. Kept runners from advancing, thrown guys out. That pop time is nothing to sneeze at for sure. Gets that ball out of the glove extraordinarily quick.
This season at Oklahoma, he threw out 33% of potential base stealers. It's an incredible number for a guy behind the plate. As he skies this one towards the seats, we'll see who gets it. And that lands between a couple of fans in the stands on the left side. He's behind 0-2. One thing to note about the Cape Cod League games, there are no extra innings this season. So if it is to go down to the wire, expect possible ties all season long if it has happened that way.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of these stadiums don't have lights. Sometimes there are fog issues, there are just natural elements that cannot be controlled by the league. And even more so, you don't want to burn out these guys' arms because, yeah, this is a summer league and it's a huge deal for all of us, but their college seasons are also extremely important to their coaches. You don't want them to burn out, possibly injure themselves, and it's understandable why there are no extra innings.
Time was called to the last second. Granillo has to readjust. And at 2-2, we'll try to deliver the finishing blow to Jimmy Crooks. 2-2 pitch. He'll do just that on an outside corner changeup. His third strikeout, and they've all been looking. Tells you enough about Granillo as it is.
A lot of these hitters are sitting, waiting for that fastball that's going to be their most likely pitch to hit, but then he comes back with that slider, and they just can't touch it. That's been his money pitch, especially to left-handed hitters using the back door.
Kern fouls that one away. It was a fastball at 94. He knew it. He's 0-2 with a fly out to left and a strikeout this game. Former 2020 Ohio Baseball Gatorade Player of the Year is looking to get on base. With 2 outs for Wareham, they're behind 2 runs here in the 6th. Speaking of behind, he's down 2 strikes against Granillo. See if he goes to the fastball or that devastating changeup again. It was the changeup, but Kern managed to stay alive by slicing it to the right side.
Yeah, sort of a half swing there, totally defensive. Didn't see that ball starting to move inward. Got in on his hands, lucky to get a piece of it.
Here's the 0-2. Granillo puts a fastball on it. Kern tried to shoot it the other way and fouled it over the right side dugout. I know these guys are trained to do this, but it is hard to hit 95 miles an hour. And that time, couldn't hang on to the curveball. That's 4 strikeouts for Granillo and a 1-2-3 inning for number 52 as we head to the bottom of the 6th on the Kettleers Digital Network. New pitcher for the Gatemen in the 6th. It's the left-hander Jeffrey Gilbert from Clemson University. Started with a starter from Clemson. Now the second reliever, Jeffrey Gilbert, will come in and face R.J. Schreck, another ACC counterpart for the lefty-lefty matchup. Gilbert's stat line, 2.23 ERA and 44.1 innings pitched, 52 strikeouts, only 15 walks and 3 saves. So he's had plenty of experience for the Tigers this season. Seamus's day is done, went 1 1/3, 0 hits, 0 runs, 0 earned runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. What a performance from him in relief of Nick Clayton. Fastball cut on and missed by R.J. Schreck. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a fly out to right.
You got to think these two play in the same conference. They've had to see each other once or twice.
And that's a broken bat looper, and that's going to get down. We'll see if Schreck tries to text second base. And instead, he'll slam on the brakes at first. 2-hit game for R.J. Schreck, but the first broken bat for the Kettleers of 2021.
Yep, in on the hands. Schreck, pure pull there. Loops down for a base hit. And it looks like he stumbled on first base on his way to second, so he knew better to pump the brakes. 2 runs, that's a comfortable lead, but not comfortable enough. You want to get as many insurance runs as possible, so base runners are the key here.
And now it's Brooks Baldwin who bats from the right side of the plate for the first time. He's a switch hitter, product of UNC Wilmington, managed to do that with a .325 average. We'll see what he can do from the right side of the plate here for the Kettleers. More about Gilbert. This is very interesting. He was a freshman All-American for Clemson, check. South Carolina Mr. Baseball as a high school senior. Won the state championship 3 times as a sophomore, junior, and senior. And get this, after this pitch, Baldwin trying to get the bunt down, can't do it. He'll be behind 0-1. Gilbert was offered an opportunity to be a junior Olympian swimmer and chose to pursue baseball as well. Freak athlete. Now he's in the Cape Cod League with an incredible resume as an All-American in college.
See a lot of those guys that play multiple sports. Watch Schreck over at first base. So you have a left-handed pitcher. Typically, their pickoff moves from the left side aren't as good as that from the right because they can't disguise the ball as much. So don't be surprised if you see Schreck take some liberties over at first, get a little bit bigger of a secondary lead.
And that throw over to first almost got Schreck. He moved a little far off the bag but was able to recover quickly. Also, another thing to note here, against right-handed pitchers, a lefty changeup is very, very hard to hit. So don't be surprised when you see a lot of changeups coming to the right side hitters for the Kettleers. The 1-1 pitch. Try to get the bunt down to no avail once again. And Baldwin will have to swing away at 1-2.
Yeah, but that's just a missed assignment there. A lot of these guys so eager to hit that some of the formalities and the intricacies of the game are a little bit out of practice. I bet Brooks Baldwin as a DH didn't expect that he was going to come in and lay one down here in the 6th inning, up 2 runs, but you know, that's ABC baseball.
1-2 pitch. And that's a looper into center field. Gonzalez is under it and will make the first out of the inning. Baldwin puts bat on ball, but it can't find the green grass. And now it'll be the man who had a double his last time up in Ben Rice. He also has 2 runs scored.
Yep, he's seen a whole lot of home plate. Being the catcher for the Kettleers. Lots of good production from him, especially as a catcher. He'll face his first left-handed pitcher of the day, so see if the approach changes.
And that's a big curveball that brushed Rice off of the plate.
Yeah, that's just nasty. Almost 12-6. Snaps down. Beautiful break. That's on a nothing and nothing count.
And then comes back with 93 miles an hour inside and keep trying to brush him off. You know what he wants to do is he wants to hammer the inside and then try and use that breaking ball the outside corner where it's almost unreachable, even if it's in the strike zone. He'll throw back to first. This time, Shrek will get in easily. But Rice has impressed thus far, drawing a walk, then getting a double to the left center field gap. And now trying to work the count against a favorable left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, you can see Gilbert just planted his front foot a little bit awkwardly. That's why that ball started to sail on the fastball. Got to be careful with those.
2-1 pitch. Rice waits back on it. Gonzalez will get another chance, and he'll make it again for out number 2. Hard contact from Baldwin and Rice, but Gonzalez was there to make both plays. And now John Rhodes comes up after having his double that scored Rice in the 4th inning.
Yeah, we knew Rhodes was going to make an impact on this game at some point. But he got a pitch that he wanted, drove it out to left field. He's going to be primarily a pull hitter. Flew out to right his first time up, but that's what this guy does. All he does is hit. One of the younger guys on this team, you know, he's a rising junior.
1 ball and no strikes to Rhodes. Shrek at first. Here's the pitch. And Rhodes takes a nasty changeup to the outside corner, making it 1-1.
Yeah, you can see this strike zone starting to expand a little bit from left to right. Not as much north and south.
And there's that big 12-6 curveball. This time Rhodes holds off. It'll make it 2-1. Rhodes in 2020 was the National Co-Freshman of the Year, according to Collegiate Baseball News. 30 college prospect in 2021, according to D1 Baseball. 32 MLB draft prospect here in 21. So the scouts are here to see him, like you said. Collegiate Baseball League All-Star Game MVP in 2019 from Perfect Game. Resume keeps adding as the days go by for John Rhodes. And the proof is in number 8. 2-2 pitch coming from Gilbert with 2 outs. Instead, he'll throw over to first and keep Shrek at bay.
That's just a throw over to keep him honest at first. That shows a little bit of concern for Rhodes. He doesn't want Shrek to steal a bag that he doesn't earn, and he knows Rhodes drove in a guy from second already, so best be careful.
And this one will pop up Rhodes. Gilbert will call everyone off and catch it just shy of the third base line for the 3rd out. After giving up a hit, he gave up 3 straight pop-outs, and we head to the top of the 7th inning. Send it over to Lauren Kirkley.
Service Credit Union offers banking solutions to all your needs, including free and a selection of credit cards with exciting benefits.
Thanks, Chris and Steph. We're back here with the family of Chris Troy. Happy Father's Day, you guys. Could you think of any better way to spend your Father's Day?
Absolutely not. It's just gorgeous out here. We're really enjoying ourselves, and we love to see my grandson.
Now, I know we just talked. You just got in. Ago. What do you think of the park so far? What do you think of Cotuit?
Man, it's just a beautiful atmosphere. We're enjoying being out here and meeting with all the friendly Cavaliers, and we're just very grateful to be here.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Chris was a Ket back in 2019 and actually left on an injury. What does it mean for him to be back and be able to watch him hopefully for a full season?
Endearing and emotional.
Just very, very thankful and grateful for sure.
Just love it. I just love it.
Alrighty, thank you so much, guys. Can I get a go, Kets?
No,
go Kets.
Yeah, go Kets.
Back to you, Chris and Seb.
Andre Granillo back out for his third inning of work, and we enter the 7th inning. Always great work from Lauren Kirkley, our sideline reporter, talking to Chris Troy's family. Granillo bounces the first pitch in the dirt. Pat Burns took one off the right shoulder, but he seems to be all right. He's facing Cody Jeffries. 91 to the inside, evens it up at 1-1. Jeffries, not a ton of success at the plate today. Flew out to left and popped out to third in his 2 at-bats. Jeffries rounds to first. Knocked down in the flip to first in time. Great play by Blake Klassen to gather it, keep it in front of himself, and get the first out of the inning.
Yeah, good recovery there from Klassen. I mean, he's been doing that all game, especially when the ground balls are over there. He had one play where he had to hug the line and almost awkwardly forehand a ball that probably should have been played to his backhand. That one took a tough hop. Granillo covered the bag masterfully, and there's the first out of the inning for number 52. And there's a reason he's staying out as long as he has.
Well, it's because of pitches like that. 92, he can mix it up with his fastball and his off-speed pitches. We were talking about the slider last inning, but fastball in anywhere from 92 to 95 has been the calling card of Andre Granillo. So he's quickly ahead 0-2.
And you can't forget about that changeup that breaks to the outside corner against left-handed batters. We were talking about it on the top half of this inning with Jeffrey Gilbert. With right-handed batters, that outside changeup is tough. It's the same for left-handed batters against right-handed pitchers.
0-2 from Granillo. Just misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And I'm sure this guy is not always traditionally a relief pitcher, but he's in his 3rd inning of work, 2 2/3, if you might add. 2 1/3, excuse me. And he's still rearing back 95, 96 miles an hour.
And you bring up a great point, Chris. Typically, you wouldn't see a guy like this going in long relief situations up by 2 where we had good pitching to start. As the 2-2 is fouled back by Jarvis. You know, you see guys that are coming in relief go 3 innings when your team is down 5 or 6 runs, or maybe even more than that. Here it's just because he's been so good with 4 strikeouts already. 2-2, shot to the left side and out of play.
And this is just Coach Roberts' philosophy, is about making these guys hybrid pitchers. It doesn't matter necessarily about where they play, what position they play. Scouts might not see them as starters. They might see them as relievers. They might see relievers as starters. So he's going to test all these guys out and make sure they're ready for any opportunity that comes to them after college during this draft process.
Payoff pitch. Lifted into foul ground. Cole Cummings coming on. And he cannot make the play. It gets just over the netting and foul. So we'll do it all over again with 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jim Jarvis.
Granillo's coming off of a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th. Now in the 7th. If he could strike out the top of the order, and Jim Jarvis, who had a double against Dalton Radans that pulled him, that made Granillo, be a good chance of doing back-to-back 1-2-3.
3-2 pitch, a fastball, called foul, looked like it bounced in the batter's box. Great work by Sparky Burns behind the plate. Great baseball name, Sparky Burns.
And the Cotuit fans and Cape Leaguers love him because of how he calls games so consistently.
3-2, looped foul. And again, a professional at bat coming from Jim Jarvis. He's the only man that's caused a bit of trouble for Granillo, he and Owen Diodati. And yet another foul ball on 3-2.
This is a great at-bat from Jim Jarvis. See how far he's choked up the bat in this at-bat. He's trying to time up that fastball because he knows either the fastball's coming or the changeup. He's also featured that 79-mile-an-hour backdoor curveball.
If he could have a song during his at-bat right now, it would be Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. The 3-2 is bounced towards Brown. He makes the play to his right, throws across in time. Pretty play by Eric Brown to get the second out of the inning.
And that's a guy who's traditionally a shortstop, but you got Ryan Ritter about 20 feet left of you, or right of you, excuse me, left of us. And Eric Brown there comes across the diamond, backhands, makes sure to set his feet, and then beats out the speedy Jim Jarvis by about 2 steps.
Pretty good concentration of outs by Granillo. He's got a line out, 4 strikeouts, and a couple ground outs. As Pat Burns takes another one off the padding, this time on his left shoulder.
Yeah, 94 to the chest. Got Iron Man behind the plate.
Doesn't even flinch.
Think Ben Rice ever apologizes to his umpires if he doesn't get a block? I know it doesn't happen very often, but if it hits the umpire, do you think he's like, oh, my bad, or he's just like, oh, it's just part of the game?
Well, that's 95 on the plate, so that's tough to read and definitely tough to react to. 1-0. Big slider right at the knees, evens it up.
Yeah, and he can effortlessly go 95 to now 80, a 15-mile-per-hour switch up. How are you supposed to prepare for that as a hitter?
It's the ability to change gears that separates him. As another ball is fouled away to the left side. That's a big indicator of guys not being able to catch up to their pitches. This could be the second straight 1-2-3 inning from Granillo. The changeup misses low and evens it up at 2-2. But yeah, look at the left-handed batters. Every time they get a fastball, it's always going towards left field. They're not catching up to it. They're late on the swing. It's worked out for them a couple times, but not nearly as much as they would hope. As the 2-2 pitch is low and inside. Good block by Ben Rice.
And Granillo's found himself in a couple of situations where he's at 3-2. Then there's some good at-bats from guys like Jim Jarvis. But he's been able to comfortably get out of them. We'll see what he does here.
3-2 on its way. Lined out into right center field. That's going to be a base hit, and Beavers will throw it into second. Tres Gonzalez aboard for the first time with a 2-out hit in the top of the 7th inning.
And that is a great 2-strike approach. We talked about that before with John Rhodes hammering it to left field to have that RBI that scored Rice in the 4th. Here it was 3-2. It was running in on him, and he found a way to poke it to right field and get it past Eric Brown, who's very sharp defensively. So we'll see what happens with Granillo.
Mike Roberts coming out to have a conversation. This doesn't have the same feeling of I'm going to the bullpen. You have a right-handed pitcher against a right-handed batter coming up in Paul Skeens, who he's already struck out looking once. He knows the pitches that are going to get Skeens. It's that slider that he couldn't catch up to. He didn't think about it. Just buckles him up. So just approaching this at bat with a runner on first. Skeens, one of the bigger power hitters for the Gatemen. Don't want to let him get something over the middle and tie this ball game in the 7th.
Yeah, and you have to understand Skeens hits for power, and it's only a 2-run ball game. So if he manages to get a hold of one at 95 or, leaves that changeup over the middle, it's a tie game in the 7th. And then you have to decide whether your offense has the momentum or the Gatemen do. And that's not a risk that Coach Roberts wants to take. He trusts Granillo, who's been astounding so far. So much so that we didn't have any information on him, and now we've basically understood that he loves to rear back and throw that fastball. So we'll see if he goes right after Skeens. But these 2 outs are important. This is a very important out to get here in the 7th.
Fresh count. First pitch to Skeens. Blows it right by him at 95 miles an hour. Skeens had offers from big-time baseball schools, Power 5, but wanted to play at a service academy. He's at Air Force.
I think anywhere he would have gone, he would have been at the Cape League. He's just so talented, successful, such a multifaceted athlete.
95 on the black. Granillo does it with ease.
But I think that's pretty amazing that he wants to go to play at a service academy. Commendable for sure.
Let's see if he goes back to the slider with an 0-2 count. The pitch. Fastball, and Skeens did not expect that. Way late and just sticks the bat out as the foul ball goes right towards the Gatemen's dugout.
That's 96 in his 3rd inning of work. as a reliever.
That's playing the mental game right there. Skeens waited for the slider, was getting out in front, getting early, but had to tap it. 0-2, check swing. He is rung up. Andre Granillo with his 5th strikeout. He gets out of the inning, and we'll enter the bottom of the 7th on the Kettleers Digital Network. We're in the stretch here at Lowell Park for the first time, and boy, does it feel good to hear "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in front of, if we sold tickets, a sellout crowd in Cotuit, Massachusetts.
Yeah, definitely, and they're all standing on their feet. They've got a great game so far. The Kettleers are on offense, and it started with Eric Brown, who had that 3-run home run to put the Kettleers up 3-0. It's only been go from there offensively, and now he gets to start the 7th for the Pinstripes and Maroon.
Well, Eric Brown's already becoming a fan favorite here in Cotuit. Now he has a chance to do even more damage. A 3-run home run in the 2nd inning. Struck out in the 4th, so his 3rd at bat, but he gets to face a left-handed pitcher, Jeffrey Gilbert out of Clemson. Starts him off with a breaking ball down the middle.
Yeah, nice changeup there from Jeffrey Gilbert to start him off. That's such a tough pitch to hit, and Gilbert's been so successful so far in his relief outing.
0-1, bounced in the dirt, evens it up.
Gilbert last inning gave up a base hit, and then after that, 2 flyouts to center and an easy pop-up to himself, and is looking to continue that into the 7th. No damage done by the Kettleers.
It's a battle of the Palmetto State between Brown and Gilbert on the mound. Gilbert at Clemson, Brown at Coastal Carolina University. But the mission in front is to get out of this 1-2 count. As Gilbert steps off and wants to think about how he's going to try and polish Eric Brown off. Here it comes. Breaking ball upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little bit of history for the Gatemen as the 2-2 pitch comes in and Brown fouls it back. Jerry Weinstein, head coach for the Gatemen, had a little stint for another team in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Chris, you want to take a crack at who that might have been?
Well, we touched on it. He pitched, was a pitching coach for the Kettleers. But, Stefan, did you know that Jerry Weinstein also coaches for Team Israel for the World Baseball Classic? He did it in 2017 and might have to report this year.
2-2. Misses outside. Brown has run the count full.
Or for the Olympics, excuse me, this year.
That is the belief. Don Snedden is the official head coach, but Weinstein with him in the summer. It is expected that he will join Team Israel in the Olympics this summer. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. And Brown can't catch up to it. That's the first out of the inning. Eric Brown is down on strikes for the second time.
And that's just a beautiful changeup there. Brown got a little ahead of himself, thought he was coming back with a fastball, and that changeup just has gotten right-handed batters to miss left and right. That's the out pitch to go for if you're Jeffrey Gilbert. And he did just that with Eric Brown.
Ryan Ritter fouls one to the right side on the first pitch he sees. He singled and was later caught stealing his last time up. 1-1, big breaking ball that drops really low, and Ritter tried to golf that one out of the sand. Promise you that's harder than hitting one out of the bunker, and that's saying something. No balls, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 7th inning. Kettleers leading by 2. Right down Main Street, Ritter decides not to swing, and he's down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gilbert. He's making his presence known early.
So he goes in the last inning of the 6th, pitching to contact, and now he's just pitching with a vengeance to strike out. Taking out Brown, striking out, swinging off that changeup, and then a fastball freezes Ritter. He thought the changeup was coming back, and it didn't. 91 on the outside.
Klassen back up. He shoots one out to center field. Gonzalez drifting back, and he'll make the play for the 3rd out of the inning. We'll head to the 8th on the Kettleers Digital Network. Top of the 8th inning with the Kettleers leading by 2, and the big, burly lefty setup man is Joey Walsh, 6'1", 225 out of Boston College. First southpaw the Kettleers are having out today. And his job just to get 3 outs. Keep that 2-run lead intact.
And this guy in 2021 went 2-3 with a 5.71 ERA and 41 innings pitched, 47 strikeouts. He was definitely a reliever. And he's already graduated. He's looking to make this opportunity worthwhile in front of scouts. And he started in 2015 as the Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year, the first ever from Plymouth North High School.
Foul tip off the right shin guard of Ben Rice. I think that one was a little bit unexpected for him, but Owen Diodati is at the plate. He has an RBI double his last time up. Son of Tim and Tracy Walsh is Joey. His 4 siblings, Matt, Casey, and Megan. His brother Matt played baseball at Franklin Pierce College. His mother played volleyball at Maine and SMU. His father played football at Dean College and Central Connecticut. He's named to the 2015 Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year list. As this one's jumped on, John Rhodes drifting back, and he'll make a catch right at the wall for the first out of the inning.
Thought there that one was smoked off of Walsh, lefty-lefty matchup. And Diodati has had the Kettleers pitcher's number today in terms of hitting the ball hard. Rhodes didn't have necessarily the best read on it, but took a jump towards the wall and luckily recovered right at the wall to make a great catch for the first out of the 8th.
Now it's Justin Williams' turn. Struck out looking his last time up. Fastball with late action to the outside, called strike 0-1. Start to see the sun going down, the shadows cascading onto Lowell Park.
You talk about the word picturesque stuff. There's no better place, in my opinion, on the Cape to watch a baseball game, and I've seen about 2 other ballparks. I've already made up my mind. Now, I might be biased, but this place is classic wrinkle-in-time baseball. It is beautiful, and it is wonderful, and Cotuit and the surrounding villages and towns rally around this team like it's a professional minor league team, and it is so wonderful to see.
Well, the only thing they want to see tonight is a Kettleers W. Certainly in range with a 2-run lead. 4 outs left to get. Bouncing ball. Cummings will gather, throw across the diamond, and a perfect strike to first for the second out of the inning.
And that's the first bit of action that we've seen for Cade Cummings over at third base. And that strike over to first is Cole Cummings, excuse me. That strike over to first was hard and accurate. And that was the big question mark, is they have a slew of middle infielders coming in, whether it was Brown, Ritter, Brett Roberts, what have you. And it looks like Cole Cummings is doing a great job over there at third.
It's his 23rd birthday.
I was about to say, the birthday boy, no matter what he can do no wrong at age 23. But he's done a lot to contribute to this team so far. Has a single, as well as a great put out at third here in the 8th.
.1-0 on its way. Beautiful 86-mile-an-hour changeup. Just no way for Despina to catch up to it. Goes right back to it at 85 miles an hour. And you know, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, he's spotting those changeups right there. We'll see what he'll do there. If he goes again, it's a tough pitch to hit. Maybe he'll go with a late action breaking ball.
Here it comes. 1-2 is lightly fouled back towards the fencing.
Yeah,
Do it all over again.
He took another mile per hour off of that pitch, but went right back at it again. That's his out pitch, and one that's very important to use. I know he was one of the players that Coach Roberts wanted to continue fine-tuning that changeup, because he believes that every pitcher should have a changeup in their arsenal, even if it isn't their out pitch.
The pitch. Low and outside. Likes testing that outer part of the plate. He's seen that Despina can't catch up to it. At least get his hands extended enough to get a bat on it. So why not play keep away? 2-2. And he rings him up. Can't draw it up any better than that. Joey Walsh, 1-2-3 inning. And we will enter the bottom of the 8th with the Kettleers having a 2-run lead, and as they try to extend it.
021, 53, 51. 021, 51, 88. 021, 52, 10. 021, 5302. 021, 53, 35. 021, 5208. And 021, 53, 38. We pick up those prizes at the front table near the Kettleers store. Meanwhile, our t-shirt winner, the beautiful Coastal Carolina t-shirt, donated by Eric Brown Jr. at CJ, only number 296.
Bottom of the 8th as the Kettleers look to extend their lead to more than 2. A little bit of insurance never hurt anybody. And I'm not talking about the Geico Gecko.
And definitely not the car insurance that some of these people needed over those foul balls off the windshields. But these teams both have 7 hits each, and then both committed an error. So the Kettleers scoreline, they just have 2 more runs, which is good to see.
Well, the Kettleers will get to see Jeffrey Gilbert for the 3rd inning. And it makes sense because next few batters he's going to face are all left-handed. Cummings, Beavers, and Shrek scheduled for the Kettleers. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of shifting in the lineup if Gilbert remains out there. Try and get a right-handed bat in that rotation. Cummings struck out his last time up. First pitch hits him.
Ah, come on, man. You can't hit the birthday boy.
He'll stroll over to first base.
Who knows? Maybe Gilbert's not a fan of celebrations.
If it's easy, might as well take a trot over to first.
Maybe sometimes a birthday raspberry is the highest term of endearment between 2 rival teams in the Cape League.
Snap throw over to first, but Cummings gets back in time. Dylan Beavers now up, 0 for 3 on the day. Look to see him getting some type of offensive action going. That changeup misses low, 1-0. Beavers is one of the guys that we've really been excited about watching. Hit the ball to all fields with power. Has a great situational awareness. 1-0 upstairs.
Yeah, hasn't found his stride offensively yet. Has given the ball a ride a few times, struck out swinging in the 3rd. So now looking to get a hit, move Cummings over at the very least to get that maybe 3rd extension run that the Kettleers want to have.
Well, Cole Cummings standing on first. Wouldn't be shocked if we see some aggression on the base paths here. It's a 2-0 count. Speaking of aggression, with a 2-0 count, I'd look to see Dylan Beavers taking a swing. Likely a fastball coming. That's exactly what it was, but it missed up and outside.
Now is it a 3-0 take for Beavers or up 2 runs? You think he'll be trigger happy?
I think you need base runners, so my guess is 3-0 take. Likely a fastball down the middle. Here it comes.
Yep, it was right there. Now you got to think the strategy part of the game. If Beavers is able to walk, then you think Shrek may lay down a bunt, move those runners over, even though the bunt has been entirely unsuccessful for the Kettleers thus far.
And here's the 3-1 pitch to Beavers. Big looping breaking ball right at the knees, called strike, runs the count full.
That's a gutsy pitch after going with the fastball at 3-0, coming over with a get-me-back curveball, I must say. Run the count full at 3-2 against one of the most prolific hitters in the Pac-12 this year.
Interesting opening day note. Just 3 years ago, when this season would have started a week earlier, guess you could say on this day, Cotuit's Peyton Burdick hit 3 home runs at Lowell Park to tie the lead record for a game. It's the 10th player ever to do it. The payoff pitch rolled over as a great play is made by Despaigne, but he can't hang on. Dylan Beavers reaches on an error at first base. And the Kettleers have runners on first and second with nobody out.
Yeah, I wonder how they'll score that. I don't know if it's an error or a hit. It's confusing because he dove for the ball, then lost the ball in the transfer. But now in business, possible move the runner over situation. They'll score that a hit for Beavers because of the nature of the diving play by Despaigne. That may be the end of the day for Gilbert. He's been your most confident pitcher, though, Steph, in terms of poise and being able to get players out. Down 2 runs, you bring in looks like nobody's really warming up the bullpen for Wareham. Now somebody's up. Do you bring somebody in a little bit more cold than a guy that's given you 2+ innings of great work, or do you go with a guy that maybe think they'll keep him in for that lefty-lefty matchup?
Well, in this lefty-lefty matchup is R.J. Schreck, who already has 2 singles on the day. He can make you pay. He's not really too worried about the matchup.
If you were to tell me Dylan Beavers' first hit as a Cape Leaguer would have been a cue shot, grounder to a first baseman who couldn't recover on the diver, I would have laughed in your face. I thought it would be a double all the way to the wall or a moonshot home run, but no, that's just the game of baseball for you.
2-run lead for Cotuit. Runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The chance to extend the lead. But as I was saying about Peyton Burdick, he's only the 10th player in league history to hit 3 home runs in a game. He was the first to do it on opening day, finished the day 4 for 4 with 3 runs and 7 RBIs.
Those are incredible numbers from Burdick as well. That just speaks volumes in the types of players that the Kettleers recruit or have signed these contracts to come play for the Cape Cod League and the Kettleers. They just keep bringing in loads and loads of talent year in and year out.
R.J. Schreck showed bunt the first time. Let's see if he does it again. He does. He gets the bunt down, and boy, is it pretty. Only one play at first, and he moves both runners over. Excellent at bat by R.J. Schreck. And ABC baseball in full effect here in the bottom of the 8th inning at Lowell Park.
And that was a beautiful bunt. And that worked against the lefty because the speedy Cole Cummings went to third. Beavers hustled down to second base. There was only one play to make, and that sets you up for Brooks Baldwin, who hasn't had a hit in this game yet, but has the nice lefty versus righty matchup.
And I think this is going to be it for Gilbert on the day. And we'll be back after we find out who's coming in relief on the Cotuit Digital Network. Two runners in scoring position for the Kettleers, and the man trying to clean up the job is Devereaux Harrison. Talk about a name. 6 feet 190 out of Vacaville, California, and Long Beach State. 1.57 ERA over 34.1 innings of relief. 42 strikeouts and only 12 walks with 10 saves. Talk about good numbers.
Yeah, and that's why it earned him the Big West Freshman of the Year honors as a pitcher, Big West Freshman Pitcher of the Year. So now he has to clean up this mess here. Trying to keep it within 2. That 1 out was big and crucial for that bunt laid down by Schreck. Now with 2 runners in scoring position, it looks like Baldwin will be somewhat aggressive to put it to the outfield at least. Even if it doesn't land, you got to think Cummings is going to tag from third base.
Infield playing in, trying to make a play at the plate because there is no double play opportunity. Baldwin back with the bat in his left hand. And he'll show bunt, but is hit by a pitch. I guess he pulled back in time. Athletic play by Brooks Baldwin. Looks like he's all right. Glad to see that. But now the bases loaded for Ben Rice.
Now, as much as I want to say that that wasn't a good thing for the Kettleers, or it was a bad situation even for the Gatemen, it does set up the double play ball in theory. So if he's able to get Ben Rice to ground out to second or short, he does have a speed. He's plus speed catcher for sure. But now a situation with the bases loaded, all Rice has to do is put one to the outfield. And we've already seen him with that double to left center field earlier this game, that he has plenty of power if he can use it and really blow this game open here in the 8th.
Well, with that wild first pitch, pass ball concern is in the realm of possibility. First pitch gets away. And in to score is Cole Cummings.
Good prediction on the breaking ball that gets away. Now it's a 3-run lead. We didn't even need a pitch to get hit. It's a wild pitch. Score that for Devereaux. So
that run will not go. Is that shot up the middle? 1 run will score. Coming around to score is Brooks Baldwin, and the Kettleers have blown this game open. Ben Rice shortened up his swing and shot one right up the middle.
2 runs come in to score for the Kettleers. It's a 5-run ball game. That takes away any possible save opportunity if we can get it into the 9th. And now you got John Rhodes coming up to try and extend this inning with 1 out.
Ben Rice with one heck of a stat sheet. A walk, a double where he later scored a run, and now 2 RBIs with a single. So 2 for 3 and 2 RBIs.
And we're not even done with this inning yet. Kettleers, maybe they want to get double-digit runs today. I know that they've really wanted to put on a show for the Kettleer faithful this game. And Lowell Park has responded tremendously here on the first game in 2021.
1-1 the count to John Rhodes. Ben Rice standing on first, an 8-3 Kettleer lead. You have to think that's pretty comfortable. Potential for more. Turns over on that breaking ball. Good block behind the plate by Crooks. That's one takeaway defensively for the Gatemen is Jimmy Crooks has been as stable as just about anything behind the plate.
Yeah, and that was a devastating breaking ball in the dirt that just got away from him that scored that run.
Broken bat sawed off, but right at Diodati.
That bat traveled far. It's at the edge of the infield grass. That could have hurt someone really, really bad, but Rhodes swung really hard, broke off his bat. Second broken bat of the day for the Kettleers. Now 2 outs for the Gatemen, but 5-run lead for Cotuit. It's all Kettleers so far.
Devereaux is not out of the woods with Eric Brown coming up to hit. Saw in the second inning that monster 3-run shot to left field, a no-doubter that opened up the scoring for the Kettleers and for the Cape League. That ball gets away, but kept in front by Crooks. Been saying a whole lot of that throughout the game.
Yeah, and the Kettleers we saw on Thursday, I know it's a difference between a D1 catcher and, you know, D2, D3 guys, but they were stealing left and right. Crooks has made a point to not allow any Kettleers base runners to steal.
1-0 pitch, 93 upstairs. Rice, not the speediest on the base paths. He is a catcher, so wouldn't expect him to be going in this situation with a 5-run lead.
How about the story from him? First game as a Kettleer, not playing a season in 2021, having 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored.
Slicing foul to the right side. No play is able to be made, but there's the first strike at the at-bat for Brown. 2-1 the count.
That one was in the air for a long time. Yeah, just the right fielder was shaded a tad bit more to the left side of the outfield. Had a long way to go, and it just dropped too soon for him.
But yeah, you talk about Ben Rice and a guy that's hasn't had a year to play. Seen a lot of those Ivy League guys here. Tommy Seidel, another one that comes to mind, an outfielder for the Kettleers. All putting out good performances, like they don't have a ton of rust. So the 2-1 is sent out to center field. Way back, and a leaping grab made by Gonzalez to retire the side. We'll enter the ninth, where the Kets have a chance to win their first game of the season on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Say 1-2. Joey Walsh back in after a 1-2-3 out in the 8th. Ready? Go for it. Top of the 9th, Joey Walsh back in after a 1-2-3 inning of work in the 8th. He'll be welcomed by a couple of pinch hitters, Nicholas Simio out of Manhattan College and Airmont, New York. 284 average, 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, and 6 doubles in 2021. He's going to try and start it off and chip away at a 5-run deficit here at Lowell Park. Walsh, on the other hand, is trying to close the door. The save opportunity was destroyed after the 3-run top of the 8th inning. That started with that hit by pitch by Cole Cummings. Dylan Beavers had a single and later scored, and then Ben Rice brought in Beavers and Baldwin with a looping single to center field. How about him? Now Nick Simio will start it off for the Gatemen in the 9th. First pitch from Walsh is a fastball and inside 1-0.
This is where you can expect Don Sneddon and Jerry Weinstein to flood the batter's box with right-handed hitters. Really test Joey Walsh, get the matchup game going.
And now Samio will take a changeup upstairs, 2-0. MAAC Preseason Player of the Year and a Johnny Bench Award nominee. As he takes a fastball to the outside corner for a strike, hit 2-1. You just see the wards of players that aren't even starting. Now, these guys will be starters in any other league. They're starters at their colleges. As he takes a changeup for a strike, now 2-2. The resumes of these guys are just unbelievable. It's one person to the next. It's incredible.
Well, and this guy's coming off the bench, so that's another thing to think about is he wasn't even getting regular game action.
As Samio fouls that fastball away, he'll see another at 2-2.
But, you know, it just goes to show the pedigree that comes to this league, the best possible players that are scouted. And sometimes they're guys that you probably have never even heard of.
Two-two pitch, fouled away again. Now here's the funny thing about 8 runs on opening day. It's tied for 3rd most on opening day since 1990. Cotuit won 12-4 at YD in 1994, won 10-1 over Brewster in 2018, and then won 8-2 over Brewster in 2006. As Walsh gets him to pop it up, Rhodes coming on. We'll see who gets it. It will be Beavers for the first out of the 9th. Walsh went 1-2-3 last inning, and now we'll try to do the same here in the 9th with a 5-run lead at Lowell Park in the first game of the 2021 CCBL season. Now he'll be met with another pinch hitter in number 9, Ted Burton from Michigan, 6'3", 185 out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Burton, 342 average, 667 slug percentage, 7 home runs and 28 RBIs with a 97% fielding rate.
Those are just great numbers.
And he'll be met with a fastball outside, 1-0.
Out of Michigan, hit his first career home run against UConn this past year. And it was his first NCAA tournament this year where they played against UConn. So a lot of good feelings about UConn, a lot of memories that he's made against those guys.
And we'd like to thank some of our Cape League historians and statisticians that have come through, done a wonderful job for us, have been so welcoming and so helpful with our prep and process. As the 2-0 comes in, and will fall in for a strike, an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-1. Two-one from Walsh. Fouled away, evens it up at 2-2. Two-two pitch. And it looks like it hit him. And he's a little shaken up, got him on the right leg, and he's limping down to first base. You never want to see that. It's spiked in the dirt, and Walsh now has a runner on board to deal with.
You also don't want to let that affect you. You don't want to let that get into your head and start becoming a problem moving forward. It's just one pitch, you know, move on to the next batter. You have a 5-run lead, tons of cushion. 2 outs away from the first victory that the Cotuit Kettleers have had since their championship win in 2019.
Looks to be that the Gatemen won't employ a pinch hitter, for Cody Jeffries. out of San Diego. He's 0 for 3 looking for his first hit of the game. He flew out to left his first time. His second time popped up to Cole Cummings and then grounded out to first his last time at the plate.
This is where Walsh has thrived. Lefty on lefty matchups.
0-1, low and away. The thing that Cotuit wants most is what the Gatemen want the least, is a ground ball to second or short to set up a double play ball that would effectively end the game and secure Cotuit's first win of the season. Now the 1-0 pitch. Fastball runs a little bit high, 2-0.
Yeah, Walsh having a little bit of trouble locating. Different from last inning. Smooth sailing, 1-2-3 with a strikeout looking. Had a little bit more trouble with these guys. Gotten them deeper into counts.
And that one's lined into center. That'll drop in for a base hit. Takes a weird hop, rounding second, but closing back is Burton. And now 2 runners aboard with just 1 out for Joey Walsh in the top of the order coming up for the 5th time. And that may be the end of the day for Joey Walsh. He goes an inning and a third plus. Gives up a base hit and a hit by pitch, but excellent outing from him as they're going to bring in another pitcher, and it might be TJ Brock, but we'll have to make sure when we come back here in the 9th on the Cotuit Kettleers digital network. How many people have stayed? They want to see
Kettleers, 43, TJ Brock, Ohio State. Brock, number 43, now pitching to the Kettleers.
Bring up Brock stats. Yeah. They're good. Better make your call good because I'm filming it. Actually, yeah. 0 and 1, 2.08, 21.2, 21 2/3. 9 saves. See, I think this is the typical closer game right now. It was an easy 97. Yeah, he's not built like he was not built like absolute liquid smoke, but that's the concern. Does it get away from you? All right, you ready? You guys ready? Our suspicions were correct. TJ Brock is in relief for Joey Walsh. Walsh will inherit the 2 runners on first and second base if anything is to come of it, but TJ Brock throws hard and harder. 0-1 this year with a 2.08 ERA, 33 strikeouts and 21.2 innings pitched with 9 saves in 19 games played. The Ohio State product is projected to be the closer for the Kettleers every day. Now, this isn't a save situation, but maybe more or less damage control. You never want to lose the game in a situation like this. And Brock on the radar has been tapped for 100 miles an hour plus.
It starts with an easy 98. That's a daunting thing for any batter. Now Jim Jarvis has to worry about 96 at the least. So certainly closer type numbers. You saw it, the 9 saves last year, only 21 2/3. Very efficient and effective.
And he's missed 3 straight pitches away, but has stayed in the 96-97 range. Now he needs to fire in a strike against Jim Jarvis, who has a double and a run scored to his name for the Gatemen. Ground ball most likely secures the victory for the Kettleers, but Brock has to find the zone, and he cannot against Jarvis. That'll load up the bases for Trace Gonzalez.
Yeah, dangerous situation. With a ton of velocity, you want to make sure you have that command and control. And we saw it on Thursday with TJ Brock effortlessly painting 97 on the outside corner, but not the ideal start for him.
Preseason All-American, perfect game, all-tournament selection when he was in high school. And there he fires in his first strike at 98 miles per hour, and you can hear the crowd's roar of acceptance for TJ Brock's velocity. 98 again, this time misses. 1-1 for Trace Gonzalez.
You're not going to have to see a whole lot more than that fastball because batters can't really catch up to it. He has a changeup that'll bring out every once in a while, maybe the occasional slider, but usually it's that high velocity fastball. He likes to use the corners.
Now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Bases loaded, 8-3 Kettleers in the 9th. They do not want any more runs against them. And that one is upstairs, and now a 3-1 hitters count for Trace Gonzalez. One pitch, and that gets the strike call at 99. And now Brock has to find the strike zone here or he'll walk in a run. 3-2 pitch, and he will do just that. It is 8-4 now as Burton will stroll home. That run will belong to Joey Walsh. And the tying run comes to the plate in Paul Skeens. Back-to-back walks. And Skeens looking to tie up the game for the Gatemen here. It's 4 runs to 8 runs. A ground ball could do it for the Kettleers. Skeens looking to change the hopes as that one gets away, and that'll easily score the 5th run of the game for the Gatemen. It is 8-5 now, and we have some late game dramatics for TJ Brock. And that'll be the end of the day for him. Mike Roberts didn't like what he saw there. Back-to-back walks, throws a wild pitch that comes in to score a run. And that run will belong to Joey Walsh as well. So Brock's day is done, and they'll have to bring in a new pitcher when we return on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Pitching for the Kettleers, 35 from Coastal Carolina, Alaska, Acme. Acme, number 35 now pitcher.
Mike, you got 2 left for yourself.
Late game dramatics for the Kettleers as they bring in another pitcher here in the ninth. It went Walsh and then T.J. Brock, and Alaska Abney is now here. It's a 3-run ball game with a tying run at the plate in Paul Skeens. Alaska Abney out of Coastal Carolina, the reliever, the side armor, 4.99 ERA for the Chanticleers this year through 48 2/3 innings. And he's a guy that featured in Thursday's game and had a lot of success, Steph.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those side armors. Coach Roberts really likes that strange angle of release. It throws off batters. The only problem is you don't want to leave one too far over the middle, especially to Paul Skeens. 2 runners in scoring position, threatening spot, right-handed batter. You're playing the matchup game, righty on righty, but you're inheriting, like I said, runners on second and third. The batter in the box already has 1 ball, so you're already behind in the count. Got to battle back, buckle down, and try and get this win.
And luckily in this situation, all they can do is tie. I know it's we're saying luckily. We want them to close the door here. As there's a nice slider there from Abney. And Skeens wasn't ready for it. It's 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Jim Jarvis at third, Trace Gonzalez at second. And there's a big swing and a miss on a fastball at 89. You go 75 to 89. And now the all-name team player has a chance to get the second out of the 9th inning.
Just that tantalizing fastball below the knees. Guys like Skeens, they want to launch. They want to send this over the wall and make this a tie game. Abney knows this.
1-2 pitch, fouled away off the end of the bat. And Skeens will stay in the box for another. Fifth plate appearance for Skeens. And he's had to deal with a slew of Kettleers pitchers. See what Abney can do at 1 and 2. Here it goes. Grounder back to the pitcher. Now the runners are moving over. The throw to first. They're breaking towards home. The play there. They got him! Double play to end the game. And that marks it in for a victory in the Village. The first of the season and the first of many. Abney shuts the door, and the Kettleers win it. Late game dramatics. How about that? After 22 months in Lowell Park, the Kettleers are able to win their first game back at home against the West rivals in the Gatemen. A base running error decided it, and Alaska Abney was there to be the hero to close the door. We'll be back with the post-game report right after this. Does that qualify for a save for Abney? Renillo gets the win. Renillo gets the win. Okay? Steph, you hear this? Renillo gets the win. Renillo. Okay, hold on. He's engaged. What? Clayton. I don't know how many were left on base. I'm not counting. Renillo gets the win. Clayton gets the loss. Now, is that make it a save situation? Because it went back into 3? I don't think so. Where's the losing pitcher?
thrilled to be back here in Lowell Park and win the season opener?
Well, most importantly, thank you to our fans. Wow, this was a playoff crowd. I mean, this is, in my 17, 18 years here, largest crowd I've ever seen on opening day. It was just so fun to look around the ballpark and see people. I counted one time, they were like 15 deep down the left field line. So it's a thrill to be back in Lowell Park and to see our fans. And I thought two good teams, very talented teams. I think pro scouts would say that. And we battled really hard today, and we learned a lot about each other. I learned a lot about them, and we're happy to come out with a victory.
We saw a good bit of guys on the mound today. We gave up some runs late in the ninth. Can you talk to us a little bit about that pitching group and what you saw from them today?
Well, the pitching is, again, probably the toughest thing for me to learn. All I have is their stats, 1 week worth of bullpen and a couple of scrimmages. And like as we went through the game, I'm trying to, again, set up what I think they will do here and kind of what their role will be. Today, I don't think I did a very good job of managing the bullpen. And then as Brock came in late in the game, I think he was excited. There were a lot of scouts back there, maybe trying to throw the ball through the backstop a little bit, but he'll come out better next time. And really, it's my fault that I didn't start him the ninth inning. I didn't give him a lot of room for error. Sometimes I do that, but we're thankful Alaska came in and closed out the ball game.
Now, I know it's fairly early on this season, actually first game of this season, but how do you feel like this first win has really set the tone for this team going throughout this week and throughout the rest of the season?
Well, I think it tells me a little bit about what kind of club we've got. We talked about no walks, and walks hurt us late in the game, but we did really well early, and we talked about putting the ball in play, and we put the ball in play, particularly with runners in scoring position. So it tells me that they're interested in learning and listening a little bit, and what it all comes down to. Ken Revisa has a book called Heads Up 2.0, and we've talked a little bit about it. All comes down to how bad you want to compete, really. Once you throw the talent out the door, both teams are ultra talented, absolutely. It comes down to how bad you want to compete, and we're just fortunate in some situations where we had runners out there that we were able to get some base hits.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Congrats on your first win, hopefully first of many. From Lowell Park, Lauren Kirkley, back to you, Chris and Steph.
Excellent work as always, Lauren. Great post-game interview with Coach Mike Roberts after the Kettleers get their first win of the season in 8-5 fashion. And Chris, it came down to the wire. We didn't expect it going into the ninth with an 8-3 lead. What do you think really sort of fell apart there, and what do you see from the team and their ability to bounce back in the ninth?
Well, I don't think it's any discredit to TJ Brock. He was just a little excited, threw really hard, couldn't spot his pitches, so he went with Abney. Abney got a crucial ground ball, base running mistake by Wareham, and then the rest is history.
Well, you said it best. This team moves on to play Hyannis tomorrow at their place, and we'll be on the road on radio for that game. Should be an excellent test to see what this team is really made of. May see some new guys, some new bats in the lineup, but Coach said it best, sell-out crowd if we were selling tickets, like a playoff atmosphere, and that speaks volumes to the ability of this community to rally around this team after 2 years waiting for baseball.
Absolutely, and I think that this isn't going to be a one-time thing. I think this is going to happen all season long. These Kettleers fans have been yearning, wanting, desiring baseball more than anything on Cape Cod, and it's finally happened. The Kettleers picked up a win, and nobody's happier than Coach Roberts. So now he's going to have to turn focus tomorrow when we're on the road against Hyannis. And we don't know who's going to be there. We know Andre Granillo picked up the win. Excellent work in him in relief. He did such a wonderful job. The starting pitcher for Wareham picks up the loss. And Cotuit really rallied together offensively. The back end was a little dicey, but what else can you expect from a first game of baseball?
Well, it's everything we expected and more, and we can't be happier to be here in Cotuit calling these games. It's such an honor to be the voices of this team for you guys moving forward. From our entire crew, Owen Zides, Jack Roberts, Carter Teed, Jonah Erdman, Tim Crowley, Lauren Kirkley, Chris Carey, I'm Stephen Carey, and we're signing off until tomorrow when we play the Hyannis Harbor Hawks at 6 o'clock.